So what's going on, everybody? John out here with you. We will get into the starting lineups here in a second. Cooper Hopkins is going to be joining me on this broadcast. So as the national anthems are going on right now, let me give you the starting lineup. So first of all, for the 3-1 Carolina Hurricanes, it's Sebastian Aho, Teuvo Teravainen with Seth Jarvis, Jacob Slavin, and Brent Burns. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, Andrei Svechnikov, and Martin Necas on the second line with Brady Shea and Brett Pesce. It's Jordan Staal, Jordan Martinook, and Jesper Foss with Calvin DeHaan and Jalen Chatfield. On the fourth line is Paul Stastny, Derek Stepan, and it could be Stefan Nosin or someone else that's moved in there because we have some injury designations in between. Andre Kasha, we know he's not going to play tonight. Antti Ranta should be getting the start in goal. And for the Calgary Flames, it's going to sound like this: Elias Lindholm, Jonathan Huberdeau, and Tyler Toffoli with Mackenzie Weegar and Christopher Tanev. That's Nazem Kadri, Dylan Dubé, and Andrew Mangiapane with Nikita Zadorov and Rasmus Anderson. Michael Backlund, Blake Coleman, and Trevor Lewis with Connor Mackey and Michael Stone, because Hannafin's got an injury designation as well, and we're going to look at that. Kevin Rooney, Milan Lucic, and Brett Ritchie. So let me look at the injury designation here. So Shillington, we know he's going to be out for personal reasons here for a little bit for the next few games. But we'll see what ends up happening with the third line defense part of it when it comes back in. So that's what I have right now, and I know Jacob Markstrom will get the start in it tonight for the Calgary Flames as we go through the national anthem. So we're going to split broadcasting duties here tonight for the first time. So I believe I'm going to take the first period here for Cooper Hopkins because he'll be joining a little bit later. He's going to handle 10 minutes of the second. I'll handle 10 minutes of the second, and he's going to do all of the third. So we'll switch off between play-by-play and color tonight. This should be a good broadcast. Both teams are 3-1. Both teams are coming off of a loss. So for the Calgary Flames, it was a 6-3 loss to the Buffalo Sabres on Thursday. They're feeling pretty good about themselves, no doubt about it. So here's the issue. Jacob Markstrom has given up 8 goals on 58 shots, and lots of minuses early for the Calgary Flames if you don't count the power play where they've done well. They've struggled with the even strength. But their first 9 of 10 games are going to be at the Saddle Dome. Edmonton was the only road game, so really this team in Calgary has not left Alberta, and they're going to have their first 10 games pretty much at that spot. So Antti Ranta, 1-0 record, 1 goal against, 947 save percentage. He came off the 2-1 win over the San Jose Sharks. And in goal is Jacob Markstrom, 2-0 record, 343 goals against, 862 save percentage. That has got to be better as we talk about the 8 goals and 58 shots on that side of it. So with the pregame notes on the side for the Carolina Hurricanes, it sounds pretty good. And then when you look at the back end of it, Brady Shea and Brett Pesce, they're plus 11 when that second line defense is on the ice right now. So we're going to get underway here with the puck drop as this is rattled around the kick plate. Calgary is going to be in the home reds, and Carolina is going to be in the road whites at the top. So that's how you're going to notice them apart. So Elias Lindholm set for a 2-on-1, another shot. And that one goes just wide of Ranta, as I know Cooper has just checked in. We just got really under puck drop here. So this should be a good contest between both squads here. Cooper sitting at 3-1. A good interconference battle between these two.
Yes, indeed, John. Thanks for kicking things off for us here on Clubhouse. Good to be back with you as always. And it's going to be an exciting contest here at the Scotiabank Saddle Dome. Icing is waved off there, and John's on play-by-play in this first period if he hasn't told you already, so I'll let him jump right back in.
So Lucic trying to get this one across there, and Mackenzie Weegar as I got knocked away. Mikel Backlund try to get this in deep. Picked up now by the Flames as they rattle this around Antti Ranta's cage, and then picked up now by Mackenzie Weegar, Jonathan Huberdeau, and Tyler Toffoli. And this was just missed, but there was back-end help there by the Flames as they can go pick this one around the neutral zone right now. Huberdeau, watch this one go down deep. He could be the first to get to it. Looking for an outlet pass is Huberdeau, and another one goes down all the way back through the end. And this goes back to Jacob Markstrom, who's all the way near the right face-off dot. He wanted to play that one with confidence, but it bounced off the inboards. We're getting a neutral zone draw here early.
Yeah, John, we have an interesting contest here. As you mentioned, the Carolina Hurricanes visiting the Flames here. Teams with identical records. Also, teams with a lot to look toward this season in terms of potential success as they push on. Of course, we're so early in this regular season, but I think both of these squads are expecting a nice deep run into the playoffs. And I think a lot of folks in the media have the Canes as one of the potential Stanley Cup winners.
Yes, and I'll definitely be able to talk about that a little more when we get back into a break. Carolina, Sebastian Aho to the front, scores! Off the backhand side, a power move right to the net. And Sebastian Aho makes it 1-0 early for the Canes, 18-16 in.
Boy, John, I'm sorry about stepping on your toes there. I have the Sportsnet feed on ESPN, and I think as it's been tradition for us many times, I think I'm just a few seconds behind you there. But, who is ahead right now are the Carolina Hurricanes. And as a Flames fan, unfortunately, I can't say that's a surprise. This has been something that has been consistently happening in a very negative way for the Flames this year. Their starting netminder, Jacob Markstrom, letting in early goals. Now, I'm not saying that's an easy stop right there. Aho busts in past Noah Hannafin, who was not in the lineup in the previous game, but he goes 5-hole, and Daryl Sutter looks very frustrated. It's 1-0.
We talked about this just barely in the open as I got around between the national anthems. That's now 9 goals on 59 shots against Markstrom alone for a sub-850 save percentage. So that's got to be better here for Carolina and Calgary, both coming off of losses. You give Carolina the lead, it could be nasty right there. And there's a shot for Stefan. It was blocked to the side there by Markstrom and then tried to get tipped out in front. So Carolina feeling that early momentum as Jalen Chatfield gets worked off the puck there by Lucic, but this is near the right side red line. And now picked up by the Flames as they try to transition right to left across your radio dial out of their own end. And again, I've covered Carolina a few times coming between ColorCast and all these other apps. And you get later and later into this game, and they have the lead. That's when the turnstile really gets tightened there, and it can get tough. So Natchez had his shot go just wide. Jonathan Huberdeau, he could be off to the races. Good back check there by Carolina just to knock Huberdeau off the puck. He tried to center it in toward Antti Ranta, and Calgary has it now, but Toffoli couldn't reach for the pass. It got blocked, picked up by Huberdeau. Nice toe drag ahead. He looked for another pass, and that's one of those situations I think I'd like Huberdeau to drive the net, try to get a chance on Ranta, kind of bail them out there. Markstrom will play this puck around the kick plate. Gets intercepted there. Jordan Martinook has a piece of it now as he was able to pickpocket Mikael Backlund. And now the Kings will stall right out in front, but it got deflected. And now Calgary will pick this up. And across the blue line now, struggling to get this out of their own end. Mikael Backlund has it now. Will dump this down deep. Carolina, Brady Shea and Brett Pesce, the second line's out there for Rod Brandamore. They are a plus 15 on the season right now. They might be on the second line, but they are one of the deadliest pairings when it comes to stopping other teams' offense. Blake Coleman sends one through, and this is picked up now by Shea as he gets this down deep the Calgary end. Anderson will hold off his man, allow Calgary to be able to transition down the ice with Mackenzie Weegar, the pickup there from the Florida Panthers. Dylan Dubé gets this in deep with Mangiapane, and Carolina will play this in their own end as they crisscross among deep. Brent Burns with the outlet pass. Carolina, good back pass there for Timo Teravainen, but it got knocked away. Good active stick checks there by Calgary as Dylan Dubé will send this near the right side of the neutral zone. Picked up now as Michael Stone has to come all the way back. He got pickpocketed. 2-on-1 opportunity. One stop by Markstrom as he slid across with the pad and made the save there in the glove hand. Play is still live. And now this is Carolina spinning toward the left side faceoff dot. That was one that you can definitely mark down. Maybe didn't get the first one, but that one definitely could have been a goal. Seth Jarvis now in his second year. Timo Teravainen now and behind the office of Markstrom. Slavin will poke this ahead here for Carolina, and Michael Stone will go back and pick this up. But Carolina just seems to be everywhere right now. Like they got an extra man on the ice, as Calgary just having a tough time trying to get through the neutral zone, let alone get into the offensive zone. It's 4-0 shot edge for Carolina. 14:55 left to go in the first. They were down 2-0 in the first period Tuesday against Vegas. And Sportsnet was a 3-2 win. They came back. But the Buffalo Sabres game on Thursday was a little bit of a wound. Picked up now by Brett Ritchie. Ritchie able to fight through it, but Lucic didn't drive the net. He could have had a tap in there maybe. He didn't know where it was going to go. Could be a chance here for Carolina and Derek Stefan, but the puck didn't bounce to him in the middle of the slot. Lucic, as diving Stefan, able to knock it away there momentarily, but Calgary will get this in across the red line now. Jalen Chatfield will dump this in deep for Carolina. And Tanev has this now with Mackenzie Weegar. First line is out there right now on defense for Daryl Sutter's squad. Fourth line's out there right now. Lucic almost gets his pocket picked. And now here's a chance for Tyler Toffoli. Toffoli will spin this around the kick plate, try to get kept across the high slot with Jonathan Huberdeau. Stick was knocked out of the hand. Huberdeau will send this back to his defense there. Tanev. Now Hannafin. Hannafin into the screen. That one gets blocked, and Carolina might have a 2-on-2 developing. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, good back check there by Calgary to knock that one loose. And I think they get a slash anyway, so this should be a power play upcoming here for the Hurricanes, I believe.
Yeah, John, we're about to see something right now. Daryl Sutter is going to have to turn things up with his squad. This is becoming a theme here early in the season as we hit a commercial break here with 13:48 to go in the first. The Canes scoring on their first shot of the contest, and then a great call by you. Carolina making another beautiful shot attempt, and Markstrom really having to answer the bell. He does so, but now Rasmus Anderson is in the box for the Flames, and we'll have to see who's going to step up on this penalty kill. Mackenzie Weegar has looked good here early in the season for Calgary. One thing that we're going to talk about, I imagine, during the first intermission, and that I will mention right now, is that the first line for the Flames really needs to get themselves going. Tyler Toffoli and Jonathan Huberdeau not seeming to have a ton of early confidence or chemistry together. And, of course, we can get extended thoughts on that later on as this game continues. But I'm going to keep my eye on that as the game goes on.
Hey, Cooper, I got a question here for you that went across on the YouTube side. This is just from Jay. He said Markstrom has let up a goal in the first three shots, the first three straight games. Why is he starting? That's his question.
I think that basically what we're looking for here is a top goaltender to regain confidence. And the Flames started the season so smoothly, almost unexpectedly, and then now we've seen the other end of the spectrum where Buffalo Sabres come in and on the road really manhandle this Calgary team. And, of course, Markstrom was pulled in the second period in that game in favor of Dan Vladar. Now, I believe there's confidence in Dan Vladar from the very top all the way through the fan base. Of course, he just got his recent extension, 4.4 over the 2-year period. But what I'm expecting to see here is Markstrom still have a lot of leash. He did make an excellent save after giving up that shaky first goal. But I know that Daryl Sutter wants to get his top goaltender back in the swing of things. And I'm hoping to see that too. So we are back in action now. John, I'll let you take it away.
So Carolina is on the power play right now. They've already scored in regulation. And we'll see who's going to get knocked out of the draw. That could be a matchup advantage there with Lindholm now and Marty Natchez as Aho gets kicked off. 4 for 15 is Carolina on the power play here early in the season. We'll see if Calgary can get a critical kill. Now, Calgary's been good on the power play, but where they've really struggled so far this season, looking at the minuses, and it is just the even strength. 14 to 17 on the kill, though, at 82%. So Brent Burns will get this in deep right now here for Carolina. Calgary just trying to get this out, and they do. There's nobody there for Carolina to go back and pick this up as Antti Raanta has the start in that right now for Freddie Anderson getting the off night. Back skate there by Brent Burns, but they're going to let the other forwards come back and skate this in. Marty Natchez now with Neusen. He's going to put this in there deep as Aho, couple active stick checks, try to stick lift. He couldn't get it out of the zone, and this gets dumped down by Calgary. So it's been a good start here on the kill. But Calgary needs to get a shot on goal. They don't really have one unless you want to count that clear that just happened. This is picked up now by Calgary on their own end. Trying to keep this alive on the blue line side was Natchez and Kotkaniemi. And now Noah Hannafin will kind of hold toward the left side of the crease as this is still kept into the high slot here by Carolina. Trying to do some battle towards Stastny on the right side of that blue line. And it's cleared down again by Calgary. Raanta comes way out of his goal crease for an outlet pass here for Stastny, but Stastny getting worked over. Seth Jarvis couldn't locate it. Calgary trying to find this in between a host of bodies, Kevin Rooney as well. And now Carolina has it near the left side of the faceoff dot. They're just trying to get settled here right now. This puck has been bouncing everywhere. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, Jarvis, Pesce, touching it on the middle of the right faceoff dot, picked up by Calgary, and once again dumped down the ice. So it's been a good kill. Carolina really hasn't had a chance to get started there, but there could have been a few puck bounces in that middle of those scrums toward the high slot that could have been dangerous. Carolina. Stretch pass. Jordan Martinook is the lone forechecker there with Chris Tanev as he cuts him off. And Elias Lindholm trying to find this in between his skates. Now with Hannafin. Rasmus Anderson will dump this in deep. The penalty has been killed. And now Calgary can try to make some transitions, get something going on offense. Toffoli's shot bounced toward the kick plate toward the right side red line. Calgary on the puck now. Still near the right face-off dot. Picked up by Zadorov. Good play ahead. I think that was Lindholm. I tried to tap that in backhanded somehow the wrong direction as Calgary gets this now. Jonathan Huberdeau. Another pass and toward Toffoli, I believe that was, as that got knocked away. And this is picked up now by Carolina, but it bounced off one of the Calgary players. They're going to take their time as Slavin will throw this across. Jalen Chapman with you on play-by-play, joined by Cooper Hopkins. We're going to split duties here tonight, especially when we go to start the second period. So Mikhail Backlund has this now. He's going to play this across. Mackenzie Weegar, long wrist shot, blocker to side there by Ronta, and still played. As this is near the right dot, turnover right in front. That was a shot for Lewis, and that hit the net. It looked like that might not have even been an opportunity there for a second, if not for good hustle. Sebastian Aho loses it in the neutral zone, and now Blake Coleman will crisscross and take his change. Mackenzie Weegar has it now. He's trying to get around a couple of stick checks, and honestly, Calgary just trying to get their feet underneath them and get in the correct spots because they're just losing the puck to the neutral zone. Huberdeau knocked to his knees, no call. Play is still alive. Dylan Dubé off the backhand, now near the left face-off dot. Calgary's still with this. It's the first elongated puck possession as it's finally been cleared down, and we've hit the halfway marker. It's 1-0 Carolina, 4 shots to 2. Kadri trying to keep this alive near the right side blue line. He gets knocked down. And Derek Stefan, he's going to chip this one in because it's a 3-on-2 defensive advantage for Calgary. Michael Stone lost his stick. Carolina has it out in front. Markstrom down, trying to block it with the right pad. And the shot goes just wide. Chatfield near the crease. And that was gloved aside there by Markstrom. I don't know if he has a stick, and now the puck is in. Oh, my goodness. Hurricanes up 2-0, and Markstrom looks a little agitated.
Yeah, John, Markstrom appealing to the referee here, and they appear to be going to take a look at this. 9:32 to go here in the first period on the 5th shot of the game. Dahan is, I believe, the goal scorer for Carolina to make it 2-0. So let's take a quick look at this. I have the Hockey Night in Canada feed here, and we're getting just a mess around Jacob Markstrom's net. Michael Stone trying to clear the blue paint, but that puck goes in. Markstrom had lost his stick during a previous exchange, and it was pushed away by the skate blade of one of the Hurricanes. I believe that was Mason, and I'm not sure exactly how that got in, but it got under the arm of Markstrom, and it will be 2-0 Carolina.
Yeah, he didn't have a goal stick, and like you said, it was just a massive humanity there, and this is kind of one of those situations right now. We know the two teams with the identical records, but another opportunity, big save there by Markstrom. I was just going to say, after Carolina comes off a loss, you better watch it because now they got a 2-0 lead right now, 7 shots to 2 on the board. 9 minutes left to go in the first period. Calgary just trying to get something going here. They really cannot afford. I know it's early, but I'm going to say this now. You go down 3-0 to Carolina, it's a hell of a lot different than any of these other teams. So they got to figure this out. Carolina's got this in their own end right now as Calvin Dahan has it. He's going to play this as a long pass, goes right back to Weegar. Weegar tries to play this across the red line now and picked up by Elias Lindholm. And see who's going to win the chase, as it's a chance for Kasperi Kotkaniemi. He's trying to get out of his zone, and now Carolina trying to get among their own bowling pins on their own team. They're trying to go left and right across your radio dial. There's not been a lot of space right now. Just a couple of the shots that have been flooded in from distance are the ones that beat Markstrom. So picked up now by Calgary. They're trying to play this through the neutral zone right now, and it's intercepted once more by Carolina. Calgary will intercept as Carolina going to go ahead and take some changes as this gets gloved down. It's been a little bit of a mess right now as Kasperi Kotkaniemi will dump this into the neutral zone. And now the Flames, with no Hannafin and now Blake Coleman, will play this through. Good move ahead there by Trevor Lewis, now with Jonathan Huberdeau. Huberdeau now will recollect, but his pass was a little bit too contested there as Carolina will just push them back, Calgary, as they go back to pick this up as Huberdeau Back one, Coleman. Coleman lost it in between a couple of sticks and skate blades, and now Brett Burns will get this down the ice. Picked up now by Andrew Mangiapane, but good forechecking here by Carolina. Another opportunity, and that one goes right in the breadbasket of Markstrom. I think we're going to get a commercial break here, Cooper.
Yeah, John, I'm not exactly sure what to say right now, but Daryl Sutter, to use one of his phrases, Daryl Sutter's squad has not started on time. If I were to be a judge, it seems like they haven't even arrived at the rink yet. It's been a disappointing start for Calgary, but a really fantastic one for Carolina as they have managed to put two up on the board and have had the run of play, really have gotten to do almost everything they wanted to, and had a chance during your call there in the last segment to really make it 3-0, if not for Markstrom squeezing up against the near post and then closing off an opportunity on the doorstep. There was also a cross-ice pass right through the crease that could have made it 4-0. So not a lot of positives right now for the home team, but I'm still holding out hope that we're going to see some chemistry from that first line. You can see it fits and starts what Jonathan Huberdeau wants to do. You see the agility and the skill level, and for such a big skater, he's really nimble. And I think that will pay dividends as this regular season continues. But right now, they're just not putting it all together.
It's one of those things too, Cooper. We know about the 85 assists there for Huberdeau going to last season, but people forget this guy scored 30 goals. There was a couple times early in this game, and it's not just a pile on the Calgary Flames. A couple times early in this game where he could have drove the net and got some opportunities. I love the passing ability and looking and being unselfish to look for teammates. But I also would want, as this goes along, for him to be a little bit more aggressive and look for his shot because he can definitely score.
Yeah, he certainly can. And another player to keep an eye on for the Flames is going to be Elias Lindholm. He's been a little quieter in this early portion of the season without his former teammates Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk, now in Columbus and in Florida, respectively. But something to note that he has faced off against the Hurricanes, his former team, 6 times. He's actually been pretty effective. He has 2 goals and 5 points total, so almost a point a game against the Canes with 17 shots on net. So hopefully he can get active. So let's keep an eye on number 28 in red.
So back underneath the action right now. Flames will get this one out of their zone. Andrei Svechnikov, second in the NHL with 6 goals this season. That has been a little bit of a leash that's been lifted there against Carolina. They really need his points. They always talk about Rod Brandamore playing too much defense. If Carolina can get a few more goals, you would think that they could be a Stanley Cup legitimate contender. Back underneath the action now, it's 2-0 Carolina with 6:50 left to go in the first. The play is going to get blown dead. Do we have a penalty?
Oh, John, I think we both saw it at the same time. I heard your voice as I jumped in, and I'm not entirely sure who this is on. I know your feed is a few seconds ahead of mine. Do you have any info on this penalty?
Right now, I see it's a tripping. It looks like it's going to go against Jordan Stahl. We both need to take a look at this, though. So there's a scrum near the left side red line. And Kadri, did he do a little bit of embellishment? I don't know, but I think that's exactly what Calgary needs right now.
Kadri, he knows how to push buttons. Stahl can come in, but not too aggressively with the stick play. But down goes 91 for the Flames. And all of a sudden, the captain of the Carolina Hurricanes sits in the sin bin. 2 minutes power play coming up for the Flames.
So Nazem Kadri and Marty Necas will take the draw. And we'll see if anyone's going to get kicked out of here if the ref just going to drop this unfairly. So we're going to do this again. And now we are going to have some shuffling here. So we'll see what happens as Kadri still gets to stay in there against Jesper Fast. So good job by Kadri to win the draw. Now Rasmus Andersson and Jonathan Huberdeau have possession. Huberdeau looking for a quick screen. Calgary's got this near the right side faceoff dot. This goes back to Rasmus. Now Jonathan Huberdeau, as Anderson will play catch. He's got it at the high slot and he's going to hold. 1:40 left to go in the Calgary power play. The first of the contest. Shot to the screen. Kadri scores! Calgary gets on the board of the power play, and they've been good at it. It's a big-time goal, Cooper.
Post and in, stick side, number 91, Nazem Kadri has been everything advertised and more for his new team coming off of a Stanley Cup championship. That's the kind of play that he was making the difference with all throughout last season. Steps in, eyes forward, on goal, moves his feet, gets the stick in the right spot, and that's what happens when you put the effort in. Is that not right, John? You're putting yourself in the right place at the right time. And Calgary, a huge, huge moment there as they seem to be down and out early in this game and now have cut the deficit to 1. A great play by number 91, Nazem Kadri.
3 straight gold stars for me, Cooper, for Nazem Kadri. Draws the penalty, wins the faceoff, scores the goal. Excellent job. 2-1 now. Carolina's lead's been cut in half. Jonathan Huberdeau has it near the right side red line. Picked up now by Trevor Lewis as all of a sudden there's a little bit of life here in the Calgary Flames. They tried to get centered near Antti Raanta and it got brushed aside. As Mikael Backlund also out there as well with Blake Coleman as they got some quick line changes in there to Calgary. Kept in now near the high slot, Mikael Backlund can't keep it alive and this gets dumped down to the defensive end. 5:50 left to go in this first. John out here with you on the play-by-play. Cooper Hopkins on color right now, but we're going to be switching throughout this game. So I hope you guys look forward to and enjoy that as this one gets dumped down the ice. Jacob Slavin will be the first to get to it. Dylan Dubé will collect now. He's got it near the left dot. Try to give it to Mangiapane. Good active stick checks there by Carolina. Noah Hannafin into the screen. It bounced up in the air. It fell right to Dubé, but he just fanned on it, I believe. So now it's 2-on-2 developing. Marty Natchez will get this in deep. Noah Hannafin almost able to take him for a ride. Good active stick check there by Mangiapane into the screen and went wide of Markstrom there. It could have been open near the right side red line, but now it's near the right side boards. Jesperi Kotkaniemi got fought off there by Calgary as it bounced off one of the Calgary Flames, and I think this is going to be an offside. 5:05 left to go in the first as they look at Nazem Kadri on the Sportsnet feed.
Yeah, John, we can't say enough about Kadri, and it looks like he's in a bit of pain right now as he glides over to the player's bench. And we're seeing a replay of the deserved celebration on that power play goal. So we'll keep an eye on Kadri, and hopefully he is not too worse for wear here. But it deserves mention that the Flames have been very, very good on special teams so far this year, and maybe that's the spark they needed to get themselves back into this hockey game. They do seem to have picked up their pace a little bit here. Do you agree with that?
I definitely do. And again, Cooper Hopkins is our Calgary Flames resident expert. I think Jay on the YouTube side is also liking the Calgary Flames because he said Lindholm is his favorite player and he hopes he gets going soon. But that was a sweet power play goal. That was his last few comments.
Yes, indeed. Well, tip of the cap to Jay. I mean, Lindholm has been such a force for the Flames. And what a trade they made several seasons back to bring him in. And he's really a quiet leader on the team as well. And so many Swedes on the teams. I mean, I love seeing the Flames Instagram. So often they'll tip their cap to the number of Swedish players they have. One of the Swedish players that they do not have on the blue line right now, worth mentioning, is Oliver Shillington, who is out indefinitely for personal reasons. So that's why you're seeing players for the Flames like Michael Stone, and even in the Buffalo game, you saw Connor Mackey draw in along the blue line as Noah Hannafin was out during that contest. So Flames making do with some of their backup kind of 6, 7, 8 defensemen, but have held relatively strong. And John, I want to go all the way back to the net now. Do you think that you've seen a little bit of settling from Markstrom in a good way? Do you think he's centered himself here as the game's continued?
I think that save that you mentioned a little bit early in the first period when he was able to get across that right post to make a big-time save and stop a goal, I see some settling there, but I also just want to make mention if Carolina continues to get some work in the offensive zone and get in the slot and create some danger chances, Markstrom's got to be on his toes.
Yes, indeed. And on the scoring side, I want to give credit again where it's due to Nazem Kadri. He's on a 5-game point streak with that goal that he just scored to make it 2-1, and we're back in the action.
So back in the official action now, about 4:50 left to go in the first. Milan Lucic going to win the race near the left side face-off, down, wrapping around, but he missed it all. Raanta wouldn't have been able to get to that left post, and then there was a hit on the other end by Calgary. Jordan Martinook off to the races, and he gets stopped in the backhand by Markstrom, and this one's going to get held.
These are things we talked about, John, at different points in broadcasts that we've worked together throughout the years now. How strange is that sound to say? It's really nice to see just the basics take place. You need when you've been shaken, you need the foundation to be set. I like what I'm seeing from Markstrom right now. He seems to be very focused at this point, late in the first.
Face-off win here by Carolina as this goes back to Brett Pesce. Seth Jarvis gets his shot blocked. Sebastian Aho whistles this one wide near the right side post, but it's not out yet. Now it gets to the neutral zone, and this might have bounced up in the player's bench. So we're going to get a neutral zone draw because I see a lot of heads looking around, not knowing where the puck is. 4:27 left to go in the first. Carolina up 2-1.
Yeah, a bit of choppy action now as we get closer to the end of our opening period here. Let's keep an eye on Daryl Sutter. I've mentioned his name so many times in this first period. He was fired up, especially after those early goals from Carolina, but I think he's liking more of what he's seeing from the Flames as Michael Backlund will take this draw.
Michael Backlund able to win it, and now we think we're going to do this one again here, folks. So Sebastian Aho, Backlund will do this again. 4:27 left to go in the first. Having a conversation with the Zebras here as Backlund and the rest of these players are trying to get settled here. This is going to be a second draw. See if Backlund can do it again. So now it's in between a bunch of massive humanity near the right side dot. Carolina with a shot as we're back underneath the action now. This is near the right side boards. Blake Coleman trying to pin off his man as this goes back to Noah Hannafin. Noah Hannafin in behind the goal crease there of Markstrom. We'll get this in deep across the red line now, and Calgary will get this down the red line. As Carolina and Sebastian Aho comes back all the way in his own end. It's centered out in front by Toffoli, but nobody was there. And this is going to fall all the way back to Jacob Markstrom. Just a slow outlet pass near the right side of the red line in the neutral zone. And Carolina will get this in deep. Extra pass. Jesperi Kotkaniemi tries to pass it across to one of the Carolina players. And that was just blocked into the neutral zone and now fell back to the Canes on defense. As Jalen Chatfield, Calvin DeHaan has it now. Mackenzie Weegar will pick this back up. Tanev, Huberdeau with the backhand pass, and that was an offside entry there. Tyler Toffoli went a little too soon. 3:33 left to go in the first.
Yeah, John, one thing we are still seeing there, and it was evident just prior to that offside whistle, is that the Flames are still having some difficulty getting through the neutral zone. I mean, that's such a central piece of what you have to be able to do. You have to be able to break out of your own defensive zone with some level of competency, and the Flames really haven't had that tonight. We're seeing everything from blown tires to missed passes to slow outlets from Markstrom. That's one thing the Flames definitely need to work on if they want to be competitive in this game.
Elias Lindholm wins the defensive zone draw, and I could not agree more there. This is picked up now by Jonathan Huberdeau. Try to get picked up now by Calgary as Zadorov. This goes back to him into the screen. Ranta makes a snazzy glove save. That could have been an opportunity there for Huberdeau, but the netminder makes the stop.
Yeah, John, that's really the first quote-unquote flashy save that we've seen tonight from Carolina. And that speaks to the defense in front of Ranta tonight. I mean, obviously the goal came on the special teams, the power play, but Ranta in traffic right there makes a nice glove save right in the webbing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was definitely one that you can mark down because that could have been an opportunity for a 2-2 hockey game here. So Nazem Kadri trying to win another offensive zone draw, but now he got booted out of it as Carolina able to win this one. So anytime I see Nazem Kadri in the faceoff dot, I would almost always expect him to win that one, but he got taken away from him. So Zadorov able to knock down his man into the neutral zone. Didn't get a number on that one. Carolina's got this now with Brent Burns. Into the screen, and Markstrom, it gets tipped through the air, but he makes the glove save.
That was an interesting bouncing puck right there, right next to the face-off circle. I believe that tip was tipped on by, was that, and John, you're going to have to help me with this one. Nason? Stefan Nason or Nosen?
I think that's what I'm seeing now when I'm looking on it. So it's Stefan Noisen, I believe.
Noisen. I have my game notes in front of me. I needed an assist from my fellow broadcaster, so thank you for that one.
I haven't seen too much of Noisen so far this year, so he's like one of the only guys I'm not actually familiar with on Carolina.
Likewise, if you couldn't already tell from my pronunciation.
The puck was bounced a couple of times. It was stopped there by Markstrom and picked up now by the second line defense with Brady Shea and Brett Pesce. This goes down with Rasmus Anderson. Anderson being worked over there by Aho. Aho just kind of holding them down right now as Noah Hannafin has it near the left side red line. This is turned over. Teuvo Teravainen able to get a back pass to his defense there as Brett Pesce now has it at the right side red line. Pesce being worked over there as there's a host of Carolina players there. Pesce almost able to break through. He still got it in behind the net as Carolina looking a little dangerous. Brady Shea's shot goes a little wide, and Sebastian Aho will pick this up with Seth Jarvis. He tries to turn around, but he gets canceled there by Rasmus Anderson. There is just a lot of holding right now, and there's not a lot of room as it's finally getting picked up by Mikkel Backlund. He's able to chip it toward the right side red line, picked up by Jarvis. An opportunity, but his shot goes just wide and high of the glass. Mackenzie Weegar, excellent skate through, just to be able to buy some space. There's not been a lot of space in this game, Cooper, as this gets dumped down near the left side faceoff dot. Carolina now trying to get this out of their own end. Calgary wants to get some sustained puck possession. Rooney can't find it. This falls back to Weegar now as we've hit the minute 35 marker. Sportsnet feed here from John Ott and Cooper Hopkins, play-by-play in color. We're going to be switching off throughout this game. Picked up now by Natchez. Natchez tries to play this to Jalen Shadfield. He's in the high slot looking for a screen. Natchez! Oh, he shot it just high. I thought he could have pinged the top of the crossbar, but it's still live. And now Calgary will get this near the right side faceoff dot. Now this gets down to the neutral zone and picked up by Brent Burns with the outlet pass that gets canceled off by Calgary. Good active stick work there by Milan Lucic. Rooney will get this one down. And now Carolina will have to touch up in behind Ronta. Bullet pass there by Brent Burns. Goes all the way back in the own end. And Nikita Zadorov will check up as Calgary looks to go right to left across your radio dial to Foley. Lucic. Huberdeau will pass this one to an open right side as it just eludes Michael Stone. And now the pass just eludes Huberdeau as it goes back near the flaming sea. Zadorov will get this in deep. Calgary's 0-3-1 in the last 4 games against the Hurricanes. So they got to really change that right now. They're only down by a goal, though. It's 2-1. Carolina 11 shots, 2 goals. Calgary 1 goal, 5 shots, courtesy of Nazem Kadri. This goes back to Jacob Markstrom, but it finds and bounces off Stefan, who will be the first to get to it. This is Paul Stastny, as Stastny will clear this one down with the help of the Carolina teammates. In Calgary have a couple, probably one more possession here as the icing's waved off. Down to 8 seconds. Try to get intercepted there by Calgary as this gets dumped down the ice again. Noah Hannafin will touch up. So Calgary will have a shot with an offensive zone draw with 2.5 seconds left in the first stanza.
Yeah, John, excellent call as we are just seconds away from finishing up our opening period here. I think that Jacob Markstrom thought that it was 3-1 as Natchez wired one, I think, off of the crossbar.
That's what I thought, too. That was very close. Face-off loss there. That's going to end the first period. Your score's 2-1. Carolina's got the edge over Calgary.
Yes, they certainly do. And even though the Flames battled back and scored on the power play, I would still love to see a lot more at 5-on-5. And even though it's too late, it is water under the bridge, so to speak. The opening goal bug continues to bite Jacob Markstrom. Just 1 minute and 44 seconds into the game, he lets in a 5-hole backhand from Aho, assisted by Teravainen. And then at 10:28, Calvin DeHaan with assists from Stastny and Chatfield. Calvin DeHaan gets his first. Nazem Kadri cuts the lead in half to make it 2-1 at 13:31 on the power play. The only power play of the game for the Flames so far, with assists to Tyler Teapot, Toffoli, and Rasmus Anderson. So, John, that takes us to our break. I'm going to put you on the spot, my friend, although it's a very broad spot, so don't feel like you have to turn on a dime necessarily. What do you think was missing the most for the Flames in that first period? Because it never felt like they were the team that came out, well, pun intended, on fire to start the season. 3-0-0. Now we're seeing a little more of the team from 2 nights ago that lost 6-3 to an improved Buffalo Sabres team, but still the Buffalo Sabres on the road, the Sabres were. So, my friend, what do you think the Flames were missing, and what can they bring to their game when they take the ice for the second?
I really think it's one of those situations that I have to use the broad statement. If you're going to play against Carolina and the way that it happened against Buffalo, because, again, it was power play goals, it was shorthanded goals, it's got to be effort and attention to detail here. And it's got to happen quickly, because if it does not, again, this game like this can get ugly. Again, Carolina is coming off of a previous loss. So schedule oddities to start the season here, Cooper. And I'm not dodging your question, but I want to try to draw into it. So 9 of the first 10 will be at the Saddle Dome. And really the only road game we had was last week in Alberta against Edmonton. So really 10 straight games in Alberta here. Chance for Calgary to get going. And I really think you just need to find your game, find your pieces, find what you're comfortable with, and it can't just be Nazem Kadri. I want to see effort from more of the team and lock in here, because this is the game that you need to.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's do. I'll speak for myself. I don't want to throw you under the academic bus here, but math is not my strong suit historically. But I'm going to try to do some rudimentary math right here. So we have 10 games in Alberta, which I love that you put it that way, right? It's technically 9 at the Saddle Dome, but we'll add in the game against the Oilers. So a perfect homestand, so to speak, a province homestand, would have been 20 points, right? Well, that's already out the window with the loss to the Sabres. We'll see what happens tonight with the Flames down by a goal. So my question, John, that's math-related for you, what do you think, points-wise, is a successful homestand for the Flames? Because obviously, this early in the season, to get this kind of extended time with home cooking, you must make the most of it. I have a number in my head, but is there a number that stands out to you in terms of points for this 10-game stretch the Flames need to put in their pocket?
I'm going to go the simple answer to me. That's the number in my hand is 7 out of 10, 14 to 20 points.
This is why we work together, John. This is why we work together. Exactly the same that I was thinking in my mind. And I think you're right. I think that now you've dropped one to the Sabres. You've looked a little shaky against Carolina here, but you're fighting your way back. Are the Calgary Flames? 2 periods to go, so lots of time to work on your home ice. And I think that if this game were to end up being in favor of the Flames, they're able to get a win. Heck, I'll even take something better than what they did against Buffalo, which was an outright loss. Even if this were to go to overtime and Carolina pulls it out, something moving you back in the right direction is really what Calgary needs right now.
I agree. This is a big-time matchup here. We don't get a chance to see this a lot between the interconferences like that. I'm going to pull up the other schedule in front of me if you got any other thoughts. I just want to look at Calgary's upcoming games here while we're in our intermission.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you clicking away, and I appreciate it. This is for those of you just listening for the first time. This is what John Ott is so good at. He's got the knowledge. He's got the research at his fingertips, my friends. I am just along for the ride. So I'm just a bunch of hot air over here, and the total Flames homer just trying to seem professional and somewhat neutral. So, John, let us know if you come across anything.
So we got two big games upcoming here for Calgary, no doubt about it. It's going to be some time off in between the Tuesday game. Tuesday game is going to be the Pittsburgh Penguins. They just beat the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight, blew their barn doors off. That's going to be on Tuesday at the Saddle Dome. And then you have the Battle of Alberta again, as the Flames will play the Oilers on Saturday. So you want to get those points there, Cooper. We're talking about 7 out of 10. The Penguins and Oilers, that's going to be tough.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of tough, I want to point out a game. As a native Seattleite living now in Los Angeles for a number of years, I want to point out another surprising outcome. I mean, I keep pressing the button of surprise regarding the Buffalo win over the Flames the other night, but something from last night, bringing them to 2-2-2 on their sheet across the season. The Seattle Kraken going into Denver and taking down the defending Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche by a score of 3-2. Maybe Burakovsky said something to his new team in one of the intermissions. John, what do you think about that outcome?
I think that was a much-needed outcome because, again, who did Seattle just play? We're watching Carolina tonight. They lost 5-1 to the Carolina Hurricanes, and what was their next reward? We got to play the Colorado Avalanche. So I was doing some notes because I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to get in tonight on this game. So for the Colorado Avalanche, let's take a look at this. They are 2-2-1 on the season, and some early season questions here, Cooper. I know this is a different team, but let's go back to the Stanley Cup champs for a moment. Alexander Georgiev, 2-0-1. His goals against are 3. The save percentage is .893. And Pavel Francouz is 0-2, 410 goals against, and an .877 save percentage. How does that get better?
Boy, I'm not sure, but do you think that somebody wearing cerulean and blue, John, I'm going to say that every time we talk about the Avalanche, do you think that anyone on staff or on the team there, do you think they might be missing Darcy Kemper? You can't do anything about it now. You have to roll with who you have.
Yeah.
But in terms of getting better, you know what? It does make me think, unfortunately, of the situation in net for the Flames. I think that Jared Bednar and his squad have to ride with whoever is hot, but also you have to balance the way that you build confidence in your goaltenders. And we saw Francouz when the Flames played the Avalanche. He looked decent, but the Flames really had their foot on the gas throughout that contest. Georgiev, I'm not sure is bringing as much as they hoped. So it could be coin flips throughout the season just to see who's on a hot streak and who can keep the puck out of the net for Colorado.
You know what? I'm not going to say Stanley Cup hangover because it happens. It's going through the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. They've not gotten off to the same start. So I would imagine that's how it's going to be for these two teams. But that was a point that we talked about when we did our trade deadline show a couple months ago here, Cooper, about Darcy Kemper. We saw him in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and he really did the job. There was nothing else that you could say. And now when you're looking at, like you said, Alexander Georgiev, they brought him in there with a couple picks thinking he was going to be the guy. And he seemed like he did okay when he had some backup starts with Igor Shesterkin. But when the limelight is the biggest and there is a lot of pressure, I'm not saying for Colorado to win the Cup again this year because you already won it. So take some of the pressure off there. But you get a chance to be in the spotlight to be a numero uno goaltender here. And a sub-800 save percentage for both of those goalies. I don't care if you got Cale Makar back there with Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen. That's not going to get it done.
No, I mean, that's very simply, it's putting it in the most basic way. I agree. It's not going to get it done at any point. And I will say the only saving grace, lots of time to work things out for these teams, including the Flames with their goalies. But these are scenarios and games where 2 points in October is worth the same as 2 points in April. So if you can get them now, get them now. You cannot necessarily bank on just turning it on and grabbing those points later in the season as you make a playoff push.
So I'm looking on the Sportsnet feed right now as we're going through our intermission, and I'm looking at some of these scores. And guess what, folks? The St. Louis Blues actually played a hockey game today. They played their third game. They are 3-0 to start the season with a shutout win over the Edmonton Oilers. We've talked about some upstart teams, and you look at Dallas, you look at St. Louis. Who else do you like in the Western Conference here, Cooper?
Well, John, I think I was expecting a bounce back from Vegas, but you know what? We are really seeing Vegas, I think, return to who they have been throughout really their existence. They haven't played in a couple of nights, but that win against the Winnipeg Jets, who I think are going to make some noise this year. I'm not sure Winnipeg. Some folks in the media believe that Winnipeg is going to make a push for a playoff spot. I am not one of those. I don't believe that they are going to tip the scales this year. Regardless, they are a competent team. They're a skilled team. But the Vegas Knights at home took care of them 5-2 a couple of nights ago. And Eichel scores twice. That's a name that the Knights really needed to start seeing on the score sheet. And there you go. I think as long as Eichel's going, the Vegas Golden Knights will be going, and that's a team that in the Pacific teams are specifically going to have to look out for, but all across the Western Conference, it appears at least early on, and things can change, they certainly will and do change, but right now, look out for Vegas.
I'm going to flip the script here on you. I'm going to go to the Eastern Conference, and I'm going to start here first because I'm going to fully admit to everyone on air, whoever listens to this, whoever listens to podcast with us and all that, I'm going to tell you I got this one completely wrong, and I was wrong. The Philadelphia Flyers, why do they look so good right now to start the year? They're 4-1. They just beat the Nashville Predators 3-1 here today. They scored 2 in the first. They scored 1 in the third. They're 4-1 on the season. Is it John Tortorella magic? Was it the team that believed that? Yes, I heard a lot of the people from the management last year and say all we need is just some better coaching. We need a little less injuries, and we can get right back into the driver's seat and get back into the postseason. I know it's early, but we'll go back to your point, like you just said. Points in October matter. And look, if you're the San Jose Sharks, you definitely know with that slow start, or the Vancouver Canucks, you can bury yourself if you don't take your due diligence. But I'm surprised at the Flyers and their run right now early in the season.
Yeah, you know what? I somewhere their GM is smiling to himself and thinking, oh, you really wanted me to go get Johnny Gaudreau? Well, guess what? We don't need Johnny Gaudreau. We're going to take care of business and they had a great win in Nashville against the Predators, as you said today. Carter Hart only allowing the one goal that was scored by Matt Duchene. I mean, hey, he's going to get some goals throughout the year. But, you have these are your goal scorers for Philly. Now, tell me how much we know about these players. Now, okay, Hayes, sure. We know about Kevin Hayes. McEwen, all right, we know a little bit about McEwen. Farabee, I'm an NHL diehard. I don't know much about Farabee, and he puts in a goal, 2 apples, 3 points, has a hit, 18:49 of ice time. I mean, the Philadelphia Flyers roster is making an impact right away, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
No, and Joel Farabee is nothing more than a fourth liner right now. Over the last couple of years, that they said might have had some promise. If you get a game like that, that's how you're going to quickly get promoted down the line. And one of those situations there, Cooper, when you're talking about Connor Bedard watch, I thought that the Flyers would be in that marker. But again, you win a couple more games here. I don't care how early it is in the season. A 4-1 start is a 4-1 start. Yes, it could fall apart later throughout the year, but you roll the dice and you ride it while it's hot right now. And some of these teams, I will say close to 10 games in, I'll just make this announcement, close to 10 games in of an 82-game season, if your team's doing well, I think that changes the marching orders going throughout the year. Do you agree?
I do agree. And you know what? The best example of that I can think of right now, John, we're gonna stay in the same state. Let's stay in Pennsylvania. How about the Pittsburgh Penguins, my friend? And they apparently, the only medicine they need is to score 6 goals a game. And that's what they've done against the Los Angeles Kings. And then now Johnny Gaudreau's new squad, since we're covering a Flames game, I'll mention his name again. The Columbus Blue Jackets put in 3, but the Penguins doubled them up in Columbus. And what is Sidney Crosby saying to his squad? I mean, he must be just firing everyone up between periods in every game. Pittsburgh looks incredible right now.
Crosby has 7 assists already on the season, and Pittsburgh scored 5 unanswered goals in this game. My God.
That is correct. I mean, you're right. I mean, since we're talking about the game, you get Boone Jenner and Roslovic are opening. It's 2-0 Columbus. No scoring from Pittsburgh in the second period, and then they rattle off 3 in the second period, 3 in the third period, and as you said, 5 of those were unanswered. Incredible.
Yeah, everybody's talking about bringing the band back together as we did a couple months ago doing that show, and that certainly seems to be the case right now. And Cooper and I will tell you this. It's really all just about health there for the Pittsburgh Penguins. We don't know how many more runs they got back in them right now, but I can tell you, if Tristan Jarry plays well and this team continues to play the way they are, Pittsburgh is going to make the playoffs, and they're going to look to do more damage than losing in the first round like they did last year against the Rangers.
Most definitely. And John, as we have just a little bit more time here, I want to ask you, I'm going to bring it back a little bit to the Pacific as I tend to do anyway because of the team that I follow. But if any team is hitting the panic button, I know this is sort of a phrase that floats around in every sport throughout the season. When things are going wrong, I think of a couple of teams in the Pacific. I'm wondering if we are in lockstep, just as we were with the Flames, hopefully getting 14 points out of their homestand or the home province stand. I can think of 2 teams in the Pacific right now that may have their hand hovering over a panic button. First of all, John, what do you think those 2 teams are, and which of those 2 needs to hit that button first?
I'm going to say the first one that needs to hit it because they don't have a win this season yet is the Vancouver Canucks. What the hell happened? I know I can't say it anymore other than that. You have Elias Pettersson, you have Brock Besser, you got JT Miller, you got Thatcher Demko giving them about 5 a game. What's going on over there?
Boy, okay, well, I'm going to spoil it here. And the Arizona Coyotes are left out. They're not hitting the panic button because I think everyone in North America knows exactly what to expect from them this year. It's going to be a bumpy ride. But how could we have ever predicted that the ride would have been bumpier at this point in the year for Vancouver? They almost made the playoffs last year, and they are winless, John, as you pointed out. That is all we need to say. Now, the other team I was going to say that may have a finger or 2 hovering over the panic button, I was actually going to go with the Edmonton Oilers. Now, they're 2-3. I think they're 2-4 now after their loss tonight.
Yep.
But absolutely, Vancouver has got to be smashing that panic button because something is going very wrong in British Columbia.
I think the same thing because I want to bring your point to the Edmonton Oilers, and I should have said that too, but I figure I have to mention the Canucks first because, I mean, come on, they haven't won a game, and I thought that just like you and me, they were going to be a dark horse playoff team. They got way too much talent. For Edmonton, they kind of had some of the same problems that Calgary had, although Calgary is looking to go 4-1 in the season in the sense that they just haven't started on time. And for the Vancouver Canucks, I can take this a step further. I think in 5 of the games that they've played, Cooper, at least 4 of them, they've had multi-goal leads and they've lost them all. So I don't even know how you do that, but Edmonton is always from behind too, and that's got to be a problem. And Jack Campbell's soup era is not starting out too well either. And that was one of those ones you talked about early with the 5x25. If that was going to work out, it hasn't worked out so far.
No, it's looking to be a very bumpy road, and the Vancouver Canucks would have to rattle off an impressive winning streak just to get to 500 at this point. So they have really put themselves behind the 8 ball early in this year. And Edmonton against a very competent and strong St. Louis team. Of course, we saw them in the playoffs last year. They are 3-0-0. And now we're, oh my gosh, John, we're back. I'm behind.
You're back in. You want to go?
Back. So I'll let you take it, and we'll trade over at some point in this period as we are a few seconds into the second period.
Okay, so let's get back into our game here right now. That was a lively intermission. I appreciate that. And I will also get to the YouTube questions as well when we get our commercial break. So this is picked up now by Rasmus Anderson as he's trying to fight off Evgeny Svechnikov. Lindholm now has this between the left side red line. Lindholm trying to get near the left face-off dot. Again, Calgary had scored the latest goal courtesy of Nazem Kadri. It was a pretty spectacular one at that. That's why we're sitting at 2-1 right now. Carolina with the edge. Long shot on, gets blocked aside there by Antti Ranta and picked up now by Christopher Tanev. Tanev now off the backhand. He's still near the right side red line, being worked around by Marty Necas as Carolina just trying to get out of their own end right now. Franchise record 54 wins last season, but they lost in the second round because they couldn't win a game at PNC. And Ranta was pretty much overworked. Calgary still with this now in the high slot, trying to look for a deflection out in front there for Trevor Lewis. Now this is in behind the office of Ranta. Now Calgary with some sustained zone possession here right now. Huberdeau through the screen. Calgary still keeps it in. Christopher Tanev now near the right dot, trying to shoot short side on Ranta. That was gloved aside, but it's still loose. And Carolina finally gets this one as Brady Shea will flip this down the ice. And this is going to be an icing, so Carolina cannot change.
Wow, John, a completely different team in red sweaters comes out for the second period. What an impressive sequence right there. Basically, the Flames win the face-off to start the second and then spend about 90 seconds of unbroken zone time in Carolina's end with a couple of shot attempts as well. So this is boding well for the home team.
Yeah, this is, like you said, something completely different now, and this is a chance for Calgary to win an offensive zone draw and get something going. So now this is near the left side blue line and dumped down by Carolina. Is this going to be yet another icing? Did it touch anybody? Nope, it was waved off. Markstrom's not too happy about it, as Calgary will get a long outlet stretch pass. Mangiapane, and now we're offside. So 18-14 in the second. It's 2-1 Carolina.
Yeah, interesting call right there. I should say non-call. I for all intents and purposes, thought that was a pretty clear and unquestionable icing. And I think Markstrom agrees on that he's been barking at the Zebras in both periods. 18-14 to go here in the second, and Calgary has almost doubled their shot total. 4 shots just here in this first portion of the second period. They're up to 9.
Sebastian Aho wins the draw on Nazem Kadri as it goes to Brent Burns from Jacob Slavin. Burns will rattle this around the kick plate as this is picked up by Rasmus Anderson. Aho with a couple of stick treks trying to pry this to the left side red line. And now this is a big blast there for Jesperi Kotkaniemi, but it goes off the pad there of Jacob Markstrom. It's still with Carolina now near the left side red line and picked up now by Rasmus Anderson as one of the Flames takes a spill near the right side red line, and Carolina will dump this in as Markstrom will come out of the goal crease to play it. He's going to play with the defensive partner there of Mackenzie Weegar. Weegar with a long outstretched patch there for Ritchie. Ritchie now as Kadri will spin and hold. He's got it near the right side face-off dot, but he needs some help. It gets dumped in deep there as Ritchie scores from an impossible angle. The Calgary Flames tied at 2.
John, I flat out do not know what to say right there. Brett Ritchie doing his best Johnny Gaudreau impression, who was known for firing from the sharpest of angles. Number 24 for the Flames right there ties this game at 2 on the Calgary's 10th shot of the game. I'm taking a look at this replay. Kadri drops it off for Ritchie. He finds it in the corner, and literally, with the puck inches off of the red line near the corner, fires in and off of Ranta's left skate and ties the hockey game. Unbelievable, John.
So you're telling me he's going to play Pinball Wizard against Antti Ranta and going to get rewarded there? That's a tough break for Carolina, a great break for Calgary, because we have a 2-2 hockey game now.
We certainly do. And a stoppage and play right here. We're getting another replay of this in the Sportsnet feed. Boy, I wish everyone listening right now could see this. We'll try to describe it as best we can. John, no kidding. Brett Ritchie settles that puck on his backhand, and about 10 inches from the red line, he fires it off of Ranta and in. Boy, sometimes you're rewarded for taking the risk. It's 2-2.
That's why they always say, we've heard it many times, fire that puck on net and see what happens. Neutral zone draw, one there by Carolina. Calgary scored 2 straight goals. It's 2-2 now. It's a good contest between the Hurricanes and the Flames. As we're watching this one from the Settle Dome on the Sportsnet feed, John out here with you on the play-by-play, joined by Cooper Hopkins on color, but we're going to be switching off here pretty soon. Dylan Dubé and Kadri gets the assist. That's his 5th of the season for Kadri on the assist side as well. So he has been money. So picked up now Zadorov. Lucic trying to find it now. In the defensive side, this is stick down by Brent Burns and picked up now by Michael Stone. Stone with Lucic using that big body to go off the backhand. He's going to get it to Foley, but it's going to get knocked away. As Noisen will get this one deep in here for Carolina. This goes back to Calgary again, to Foley. They try to find him. Good back check there by Calgary just to stop an attempt there against Markstrom. Could have been wide open in the slot was Carolina, but that got sticked away. The Foley overskated it, and this is going to be offside. 16-19 left to go in the second, tied at 2.
John, 3 quick things that I saw during that sequence. First of all, you just mentioned it last. Chris Tanev, so valuable on defense for the Flames, back-checking beautifully, using his stick, so deftly knocking the puck off of a potential offensive scoring opportunity for Carolina. Also, great pronunciation of Noisen. And how about Milan Lucic? What he lacks in overall speed, he makes up for with that size and fight, making room for himself.
He's that big bruising power forward. Don't tell me he can't get started with making some moves. Back underneath the action now. Jesperi Kotkaniemi with Svechnikov trying to get this loose. This goes back to Brady Shea, but then it's intercepted by Calgary. It's a 3-on-4 really, as this is stick to side, still in the zone to the high slot. Calgary with a long bid as Mackenzie Weegar has it bounce back to him. Looking for a deflection on the doorstep for Huberdeau. Hands up in the air. We're going to see who's going to go to the box.
Huberdeau was breaking in from behind Ranta's net, and I think we're going to get a holding call here. Looks like it's going to go against, I'm seeing Brady Shea. Is that what you're seeing, John?
See, they said Shea, and then they said Slavin on the broadcast, so let's see who it's going to be. It's definitely going to be against Carolina. It's going to be one of their good defenders, no doubt about that. So Calgary going to go to the power play. This is Brady Shea. So Brady Shea and Brett Pesce that are usually together, like I said, they're a plus 15 on the season when they're on the ice together. So offensive zone draw win here for Calgary. Can they take the lead with 3 unanswered? They're 1-for-1 in the power play with 3 shots. Loose on the doorstep. It got knocked aside once by Ranta and then cleared down. Rasmus Anderson's going to have to get on his horse, but Calgary is just going to appease and go ahead and take a change. So now Rasmus Anderson will circle this back as Calgary will be going left to right across your radio dial in this period. This gets bounced out of through the neutral zone, and this goes back to Tyler Toffoli. 14-17 is Carolina on the penalty kill right now at 82%. Calgary's power play right now has got about 1:25 left to go. It's their second in the contest. They're already 1-for-1. Toffoli, and now again in offside there momentarily as Calgary's just got to get situated right now. They spend the majority of this in the neutral zone. Elias Lindholm near an open right wing. Gets picked up now by Jonathan Huberdeau, but he needs some help. Sebastian Aho and Slavin just trying to pry this loose. Picked up now. Huberdeau able to crisscross this. This goes to Rasmus Anderson. Nazem Kadri with a shot. Another opportunity. Another rebound, and it goes over the net. Huberdeau able to collect. Rasmus Anderson in the high slot, and it bounced away just off the screen, and Carolina will clear this one down. So the opportunity before that just went above the net. They have allowed 3 power play goals in the last 2 games as Carolina, and that's unlike them because last year their penalty kill was above 90%. This gets dumped down the goal cage of Antti Ranta. He circles this around the kick plate glove down expertly by Mackenzie Weegar, but then it's cleared down by Carolina. Markstrom will play this one to his defense as Calgary tries to get at least another rush here before their power play is going to expire. Weegar, nice hustle to get there first for the puck. Jonathan Huberdeau near an open right boards. He's going to play this in the high slot for Noah Hannafin. Mackenzie Weegar passes too hard there for Hannafin to go collect this one. This might fall back. Backlund now for Andrew Mangiapane. Mangiapane got denied near the goal crease. Backlund now with Mangiapane as the ref's got to jump out of the way of the puck. The power play is going to end. Now here's a chance. Mackenzie Weegar. He's got it near the left dot. He tried to just center it back to himself, and one of the Carolina Hurricanes dropped their stick. The play is still live right now as this is deep in the Calgary offensive zone. Backlund trying to find it, and this gets dumped down expertly by Carolina. So power play expires. Not a lot going on in the second one there, but it's still a 2-2 contest. Picked up now Pesce. He worked off a hit from Lucic. And Carolina trying to transition, but again, good back check there by Calgary. They're out shooting Carolina 7-0 in this period. Long shot gets blocked aside there by Ranta, and this goes up and out of play. 13-13 in the second.
Well, John, and you made the call right there, and the Chiron comes up on the Sportsnet feed. We see 7 shots this period for the Flames. They actually now lead on the shot board, and 12 remains the number of shots for Carolina. That's the same that they finished the first period with. So that tells you the way things have tilted in this second period as we hit the commercial break. But you know what? As much as I like those numbers, still interesting, John, and worth mentioning while we have a minute here, is that the Flames, they seem to turn one light on in the room in their house and have to turn another light off. And what I mean by that is great special teams play in the first period. Of course, Nazem Kadri scoring the power play goal. And things are getting a little shaky on the power play while their 5-on-5 effort has really improved dramatically. So hopefully the Flames can right both ships at the same time and push forward. But really do love what I've been seeing from Calgary so far in the second.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're going with that because early in the season, even though you're sitting at a 3-1 record, look, for both these teams, nobody's going to complain. But Calgary certainly wants to do better in the even strength 5-on-5 department. So again, turn one light on, turn one off. Hopefully try to keep both of these on right now and keep things going because it's been a good push by Calgary. They were down by as much as 2-0. It's 2-2. And this is turning into the must-watch game that we expected here tonight so far.
Absolutely. And boy, when you're getting goals like you got from Brett Ritchie, just firing one on, and that is directly related to the mentality, the DNA of this Daryl Sutter coach team. He says it really after every game. Win, loss, he's going to remind the media and his players this is a shoot-first team. Brett Ritchie does just that and is immediately rewarded, game tied at 2, with still plenty to go here in the second.
They're showing some of the suites of the Saddle Dome. I like those pictures inside there. How old did you say the arena was again, Cooper?
Oh, boy. Well, they had the Olympics in '88 in Calgary, and I believe the arena was finished about 4 years prior to that. So it's been around for a while.
Very cool. Back underneath the action right now is Carolina able to get this out of their own end after Calgary won an offensive zone draw. Michael Stone will try to play this here to Trevor Lewis, but the pass is a little too far. Back, and we'll go back and check out the Stasny will pick this up right now for Carolina. Race for the puck right now, won by Calgary there for the moment. Is Carolina trying to pry this loose? Stasny now is trying to wait toward the left side face-off dot. Now he's behind the net. Coleman will be the first to get to it as he tries to balance this nicely off his skates. Some active stick checks as this falls back to Jacob Slavin. Slavin now around the cage of his netminder, Antti Ranta. Is now it's a battle for the neutral zone. Nice stick check ahead there by Michael Backlund. I felt like I said that a lot today in the second period, especially here for Calgary. I love the back check effort right now. That's why the scoreline is now where it is, 2-2. Now through the neutral zone, Carolina lost it. Calgary will go back and pick it up in their own end as Markstrom holding on to that right post. Outlet pass, Jonathan Huberdeau. He goes back in his own end. Again, Calgary all the way through transition trying to get in through the offensive zone, which I like. But Jesperi Kotkaniemi able to get a piece of it before he gets knocked down on his heavily padded bullet, and this falls back to Markstrom. Dangerous pass out in the middle of the slot, but the Flames are able to get to it. Nice touch pass ahead for Lindholm. Could it spring him loose? He looked like he was being bothered there a little bit as Tyler Toffoli couldn't find it. Brady Shea can't get to it, and this falls back to Christopher Tanev. Tanev now, outlet pass to the neutral zone. Big hit against Toffoli. Cross pass, a shot right on, goes wide as Ronta had to watch it sail by near the right side of the window. And this goes a chance now for Shea. Long shot. Gets bounced off the kick plate. And now 25-9-7 record at home last season for the Calgary Flames. They want to build on it right now as they're 3-1 on the season. Calvin DeHaan will touch this one ahead as Teuvo Teravainen will get this one down. Noah Hannafin will touch. And he plays it to the defensive partner and Rasmus Andersson. And it's bounced off Teravainen. Could be a race here for Brett Ritchie. He looks to shoot. Why not? It was patted aside there by Antti Ranta and picked up now by Calvin DeHaan. Teuvo Teravainen has it now in his own end. He wants to be more toward that offensive end. He said he's stuck being back checking all the time. Michael Stone, as his bounce off the kick play, took a fortunate bounce, went all the way into the Carolina zone, and now Teuvo Teravainen with Calvin DeHaan and Jalen Chatfield. DeHaan will watch this one sail by as Brett Ritchie able to get the steal. Here's a chance now for Kevin Rooney, but his pass to Ritchie just got denied there, and then there's bodies everywhere near the right side red line. I think we're going to get a tripping against Carolina. Certainly looked like they took Ritchie or Rooney for a ride.
Yeah, a couple of folks getting taken for a ride there. Andrew Mangiapane gets bodied near the blue line, and it luckily pops right back up. He's been a revelation for the Flames early this year. And this is just credit, this penalty that they've drawn, the Flames, it's credit to them moving their feet in a different way in this second period. They truly, John, look like a different team. I don't know who had a Red Bull, but somebody did. They have wings right now. They are flying. And even though Brett Ritchie's playing in front of the sea of red, all he sees is green because he's got the green light to fire away. And now the Flames will once again be on the man advantage.
You want to switch now because we're at the halfway marker really of this game?
Let's take it. So we have Lindholm, Toffoli, Huberdeau, I believe Rasmus Andersson, and on the dot is going to be number 91, Nazem Kadri. And he uncharacteristically loses that draw, and it's cleared out by Carolina. So they beat tonight for the Flames. They are at 50%, 1 of 2. And this is opportunity number 3 for them as we have 10 minutes and 15 seconds to go here in the second. Cooper Hopkins on your play-by-play now with John Ott on color. The Flames take it in to the Carolina zone, but had a little issue in the neutral zone, which they've had throughout the game now. 2-on-1 the other way on the penalty kill. There's the pass across, and it is missed through the skates. Could have been a 3-2 game right here, and now it's 3-2 the other way. Toffoli tries to find the pass. It's batted down. I'm trying to catch my breath as I take over the call, John. And we are under 10 minutes to go here in the second, and Markstrom will settle this puck down. 1:15 to go in the power play. So some end-to-end action right there as Noah Hannafin pushes forward for Backlund. He will flutter this one in to the far corner. Andrew Mangiapane goes down with the Carolina Hurricane. I think that was, Burns is in the box, but the Flames keep it in the offensive zone. Now Backlund looks for the backhand pass, and that one was errant, sliding all the way back down to Markstrom's end of the ice. So a little bit of uncharacteristic play, John, right now as the Flames will carry forward. Mackenzie Weegar, who has not been as noticeable tonight. He is on this power play unit, the second unit for the Flames. Tries to hold it in down low. And Michael Backlund possesses, goes cross ice. And this one bounces off a skate and is held there by Antti Ranta with 33 seconds to go in the power play. John, what are you seeing on this man advantage right now? The Flames look a little out of sorts.
They do, and I see Lindholm and Andersson run into each other, which created a 2-on-1, but thankfully Andersson be able to get all the way back a little bit just to block that pass, just for a chance for, Markstrom to be able to make a save or at least catch his breath there because that was dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan Stahl made the right call. He passed across looking for Derek Stepan, and Stepan had almost the entire net to shoot at, but didn't actually get the shot off. So still 13 shots for Carolina, 17 for the Flames. 30 seconds to go here in the power play as it's once again cleared all the way down. So this was the analogy we were talking about, John. One light goes on, another goes off. Flames looking good at even strength, but having some issues here on the power play. Now, Toffoli tries to chase this puck down in the near corner. It's going to be picked up by Lindholm, who's been mostly quiet tonight. Toffoli's down on a knee, and it will be easily cleared by Carolina once again. So, unfortunately for home fans here at the Saddledome, an unsuccessful power play as Brent Burns races out of that penalty box. And the Flames do have it in the Carolina's end, although Lucic blows a tire And the Flames somehow able to keep it in here. There's a shot on. It has to be saved by Ronte. He turns it aside toward his blocker. 8 minutes and 10 seconds to go here in the second. Now a 3-on-2 the other way from Carolina. They're making a push across ice pass right there. And whiffing on the shot is number 88, Martin Necas. And the Carolina Hurricanes are looking a little bit stronger here in the second half of this middle stanza. There's a slap shot attempt that goes wanting. That was off the heel of the stick blade from Calvin DeHaan. And now the Flames will carry out. Still notable here, 1 shot officially for Carolina in the period, 12 for the Calgary Flames. 7:40 to go here as Carolina will dipsy-doodle out of their own end, dangerously close to their goaltender, and they will try to push through the neutral zone here. That one's touched along by Carolina's Sebastian Aho. Now it's behind Jacob Markstrom. Picking up there is Trevor Lewis for the Flames as they streak through the neutral zone. On the left side, it's touched forward for Noah Hannafin. Hannafin continues that puck's momentum around as Lewis tries to fire from where Ritchie did earlier, scoring the goal that tied this game. Rasmus Andersson tries to backhand it to keep it in the zone, does so unsuccessfully, but it's picked up and held in right there by Blake Coleman. Blake Coleman goes down. That was, I believe, Ritchie going down, and now it's cleared out by Carolina, but the Flames touch it back forward across the red line. Knocked back once again. The puck sort of pinballing back and forth right now as we're under 7 minutes to play here in the second, and now Carolina has it in the offensive zone. But Nikita Zadorov picks up right there in the trapezoid, and the puck comes loose. Now going low to high is Carolina. Calvin DeHaan sends this one in. It bounces off his skate. It was trickling toward Markstrom, but he doesn't have to actually make a save there as one of the defensemen in front of him was able to, I think, inadvertently deflect it away. And now the puck once again bounces to Markstrom. Dangerous moves right there. Nikita Zadorov showing a little stick handling right there. There's a stretch pass attempt. It's deflected by Mangiapane, so no icing. The Flames are going to try to keep this one in and cannot do so. And now an icing will be called. No, John, we're going to play on. Boy, we've had a few of these tonight where icing seems to have been the call, but not the case there. There's Huberdeau leaving for Toffoli. Little lack of chemistry. That's what we've been talking about, John. Huberdeau looking for those assist attempts, but just not able to successfully connect with his line mates. And now streaking forward is Elias Lindholm. He tries to dance around a defender for Carolina. That's Brady Shea. And now the puck is held down in the right corner. So the Flames trying to get back to where they were to open this period, where they get some extended zone time. Now Toffoli will work on that effort, but cannot keep possession of the puck. It is 2-on-2 the other way. Carolina streaking forward and dumping in. Rasmus Andersson trying to rub his man out right there. Can't do so successfully. It's all the way back to the point. And now down low toward the faceoff dot is Rasmus Andersson once again. He fights with Lindholm. A couple of Swedes for the Flames right now, trying to push out of their own end, and they will do so. Partial 3-on-2. Toffoli to the right of Weegar. Weegar tries to pass to his Panther and Flame teammate, Jonathan Huberdeau. He fights 2-on-1 and cannot keep possession. So a lot of action here, but not a ton of clean goal-scoring opportunities as Hannafin sends across to Rasmus Andersson, who will dump this one in. Calvin DeHaan protests for some reason as Brett Ritchie, the goal scorer from earlier, fights for the puck. He does so with his teammate Milan Lucic in the trapezoid behind Antti Ranta, who peeks over his shoulder. 4:45 to go here in the second. 19 shots Flames, 13 for Carolina. And this one is pushed along the half boards and up into the neutral zone where it's touched along by Jesperi Kotkaniemi. And now the Flames will have it back in the neutral zone very quickly. So again, the back and forth action continues. And this one bounces out front off of a skate. I think that was Brent Burns trying to redirect a puck that kicked off of the plate by Ranta. And he has to lean to his right and stop that puck from becoming a true scoring opportunity. John, we've got a lot going on right here, but it hasn't been super, super clean. Have you seen anything that the Flames or Carolina Hurricanes can improve upon here? Because it's been a bit up and down.
It feels like these two teams right now, Cooper, since you're taking over the call, are going in through quicksand. And if it wasn't for the last pickup there by Antti Ranta, it seems like he just dodged a bullet. But I will use the analogy right now, and I feel this way right now. This feels like right now, if this is going to stay the way it is, it could be next goal wins. This feels like a slog.
Yeah, it does. You know, it's not fully reminiscent of a Stanley Cup playoffs type of game, but it does feel like the kind of game where we have descended into a place where sometimes teams will go. I think one team enters this realm and the other will follow, where you start to see that neither team wants to be the one to make a mistake. And a lot of times when you're playing that way, that's what leads to the mess that we've had so far, or not so far, but recently in the second period. The Flames team that opened up the second period was on their toes, moving their feet, skating cleanly, finding crisp passes. And I think, John, as we've gone on here and are closing out the second period, that has not been the case.
No, and it's one of those situations. I know it's not insider information, but having seen Carolina as much as I have, Rod Brendamore loves to play this way, but especially when his team has the lead. Now that they don't anymore, I would be interested when we get in the third period here, Cooper, just a little bit shortly here because we're getting close to the end of the second, if that strategy is going to change here for Carolina because they like to just play that neutral zone trap, and I wonder if they're going to get out of it at some point.
Yes, they do. And, one name we need to mention again, Nazem Kadri has looked great throughout this game for the Flames. And we touched on him earlier. We touched on Elias Lindholm and his contributions and the way he's played against his former team, Carolina. Would like to see a little bit more from him in that first line as we go on. Michael Backlund attempts to win the faceoff, and this one is waved down. 4:26 to go here in the second. The second face-off is actually won by Carolina, so they'll be able to take it out of their own end. And chasing down the puck now for Carolina is Svechnikov. He gets pushed off the puck by Weegar, and the puck will gently slide around the corner and is now back at the right point. This one flipped on, hits a body in front. I think that was Tanev inadvertently making a block, and it is back to the neutral zone. But here come the Carolina Hurricanes. That pass is offside, John. That was an interesting play. Again, a little choppy here. Excuse me as I catch up. I didn't see that offside whistle, but play is now dead. And we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone.
It's one of those situations where I can't blame it because it looks like Carolina didn't see that as well. This is definitely getting a little bit stagnant for both of these teams, if you will, right now with 4:03 left in the second.
Yes, indeed. But the defense for the Flames has been very strong in this period. Just the one shot on goal. And we are now inside 4 minutes to go before our second break of the night. So the puck is held in momentarily by Carolina. It's sitting on the blue line, and Kadri will cross ice this one, and it's touched along there, and it's being chased down in the far corner by Andrew Mangiapane, wearing number 88 for the Flames, who are moving left to right on your radio dial in this second period. So stepping forward from his point position is Rasmus Andersson. He keeps it in nicely. Dubé backhand pass to Kadri. Kadri looking to shoot, but will go all the way across ice. And this one is to the right of Antti Raanta. Dubé with a nice forecheck right there, but can't come away with it. Although another shot is on the board for the Flames, and now tapping forward are the Hurricanes deep into the Calgary end. It's held there by Rasmus Andersson, who flicks it over to his teammate, and the puck stays in the far corner. Markstrom watching carefully, and this one's trying to be forced out front. I didn't get a number on that one, but the Carolina Hurricanes made a nice shot attempt from behind Jacob Markstrom and nearly make this game 3-2. Nazem Kadri will go off and finally change a long shift for him right there as he's putting in yeoman's work. Rasmus Andersson has also been out for a lengthy period of time as he tries to cross ice this one in a dangerous spot. The puck's sitting in a face-off dot. There's a slapper from the point, and it bounces out to the half boards. 2:40 to go here in the second period. The Flames trying to get out of their own end, not able to do so right now, but they do have possession. And this one will go to Toffoli. Toffoli stretching all the way looking for Lindholm, who was at the other end of the ice. He can't connect that pass. And here comes Carolina the other way. Stepping around Hannafin is Carolina, and the puck was held in by Jordan Stahl. Now this one bouncing, and Markstrom is going to cover up. He's seen enough. John, so have I. The Flames looking just a little messy right now. I don't really have an eloquent way to describe it, but Noah Hannafin beaten by Jacob Slavin right there. And we see on the Sportsnet replay that a nice shoulder save was made by Markstrom as we hit the break, tied at 2.
Yeah, they were getting pushed around by the Flying Jordans on the fourth line. Jordan Stahl, Jordan Martinook, and Jesper Fast. That almost was able to bank that one in off of Jacob Markstrom. And then Slavin almost able to go all the way in and make an opportunity there. So this feels like a contest that is trying to swing back and forth, and the pendulum, I think, favors the Carolina Hurricanes at the moment as we're in a commercial break.
Yeah, absolutely. They have certainly answered back after the Flames really took over the first, I would say, 7 or 8 minutes consecutively of this second period. And again, I pointed out just a moment ago, the Flames blue liners have still been doing a decent job, but really it also speaks to Carolina's inability to get clean shot lanes and shot attempts. but Noah Hannafin, you saw, was just burned right there by Slavin. So lots to work on for Calgary. And I think that they are, especially after the last 2 minutes or so, lucky to still have this game tied.
Yeah, we'll see which way this game goes right now. We're not really sure who's going to take it, but this has definitely entered another phase, if you will. We had a couple of goals go both way here for Carolina. Calgary answered with 2, and then now we've come to the phase of who's going to make a mistake, and then let's capitalize on it. That's what it certainly looks to me right now.
Yeah, and John, you know what? Just as a favor, I'll ask you for a personal favor. I know
Sure.
you keep your eyes on everything as the game's going back and forth, and we're watching hand-to-hand action here. If you can, keep an eye specifically on goal number 73 for the Flames. That's Tyler Toffoli. There have been some cries from the fans, even though the Flames have a nice record to start this season. There have been some cries from the fans that they are not getting enough from Tyler Toffoli. Of course, the Stanley Cup winner, and he's played many years for Daryl Sutter. But I just want to get your thoughts on Toffoli as we close out the second period with 2:21 to go. So Backlund loses a faceoff to Stahl right there, but the puck trickles back and into the neutral zone. Slavin tries to shovel it forward, but it's picked up by Michael Backlund. Now the Flames will knock this one ahead. It could be an icing, and will be, as Brent Burns is there first, beating Trevor Lewis. So I'll just finish my thought there, John, by saying when you see that first line out with Huberdeau, Lindholm, and Toffoli, keep an eye on number 73. I want to get your thoughts on what he's bringing to the table tonight.
All right, I'll keep the radar 4 eyes on the scouting report here for Tyler Toffoli and let you know what I see.
That's right. See, you're an advantage. That's how you always have the research and the sharp thoughts when it comes to hockey, because you got 4 eyes, my friend. So 2:08 to go here. Once again, we have Backlund in the faceoff circle. He wins this one cleanly back into the corner, and the Flames will try to cycle this one around. They can't do so. It's picked up by Carolina, and puck will bounce out to the red line at center ice. So inside 2 minutes to go now. Carolina holds in their own end. Nice 45-degree angle pass right there. It's going to be taken by Jesper Kotkaniemi. And he gets this one down low toward Markstrom, but Zadorov will step in and take over. So no real danger right there. Nice job by the big number 16 for the boys in red. The puck sits near the red line down by Ronta's goal. But Carolina will carry out. 90 seconds to play here in the second. Puck trickles toward Markstrom, but nothing doing as Chris Tanev takes up and skates through the neutral zone. We'll send this one in, no icing. Possession time total in this game right now, 21-27 and counting for the Flames, just 16 minutes and change for Carolina. So the numbers show one thing. We have the play whistle dead here. And I think we were in offside, say the Flames. So we'll have a face-off coming in the neutral zone momentarily. But, John, those numbers are very interesting. Possession looks good for the Flames. The shot totals look good for the Flames. But Carolina seems to have their foot on the gas at the moment.
Yeah, it's one of those situations right now, and I'll just say it honestly. You could take all those numbers and throw it away right now. This game feels like it's 0-0.
Yeah, truer words never spoken. Sometimes we talked about math earlier. That's not always the be-all, end-all. As we have just about a minute left to go here in the second period. The Flames try the outlet pass and are just waving sticks right now and actually able to possess the puck somehow. It seemed like Carolina had come away with that, but a little bit of puck luck right there for Calgary. And then the hockey gods take that luck away immediately. 3-on-2 for Carolina. They're streaking in, but can't connect passes as the puck dribbles around behind Jacob Markstrom, and Huberdeau will pick up right there. He gets it over to Rasmus Andersson with 38 seconds to play here in the middle stanza. Andersson able to get that one into the Carolina end, but not before the Hurricanes take over. Now, a basically 2/3 ice pass right there is picked up. Carolina dumps it into the corner. They're to Markstrom's right. They will hold there. Rasmus fighting for possession. This one passed over to Slavin, and his touch over to Brent Burns is loose in front as Burns just slapped it toward Markstrom's net, and it bounced off some legs, pinball style. 12 seconds to go here in the period. Carolina still holding. The pass is shot, and it is into the net. And just before the period ends, the last thing the Flames need, John, is a goal against, and that's what it is. 3-2, and it is put in by Derek Stepan. 3-2 Carolina with just 7.5 seconds to go before the break.
I credit Brent Burns from getting the mess started. He just fired one in on net. This looked like a game so far toward the second period that just whoever was going to get that first opportunity, Derek Stepan, a little bit after, about 15 seconds, gets an opportunity on front of the net, gets this game a 3-2 lead for Carolina. And that's what I was just referring to a few minutes ago, Mr. Cooper Hopkins, in the sense of now Rod Brendamore's got a lead going into the third period. They tighten that vice grip, and they want to make sure that it stays that way. What's the penalty call that we got? Let's see.
Well, I'm not sure, John. I'm actually trying to take another look at this. Are the Flames challenging this goal for some reason? We are getting shots on the Sportsnet feed of Daryl Sutter, and we now have multiple referees on headsets. So it seems like they are in touch with the eye in the sky, so to speak, in Toronto. And for now, with their 15th shot of the contest, Derek Stepan and the Carolina Hurricanes have taken a lead 3-2 over the home team, the Calgary Flames. But this goal is under review, so Daryl Sutter has challenged this. And John, if I'm not wrong, if this challenge is unsuccessful, will Carolina be going on the power play?
Yes, the goal's going to stand, and they would go on the power play. They want to see on this look if it was going to be offsides? Question mark.
I believe that is the question being asked right now. Aho is in. I'm not able to see his skate here, but it does look like the Flames have an argument. The far side referee threw out his hands, signaling the onside, and the headsets are off. We're getting another replay from a different angle here. The puck was tipped and then trickled into the zone, and here's the ruling. And we have no goal, John Ott. So a play that effectively did not impact the shot attempt and ultimately the goal by Stepan. But my goodness, offside on the play, starting the sequence just by a couple of inches, is Sebastian Aho. Noah Hannafin got turned around, but that puck trickled in, and Aho was offside. So we go back all the way. We're going back in time, John.
We are.
1.1 seconds remain in the second period. We were down to about 8 seconds to play. So 20 plus seconds put back on the clock, and this faceoff is lost by the Flames, but they've somehow come away with it. It's in the corner, but then tapped around to the Carolina Hurricanes. Chasing down the puck right there for the Flames is Dylan Dubé. He backhands it to Chris Tanev. So a wild few minutes here for both of these teams. We thought it was 3-2, but it is remaining a tie game here as Nazem Kadri steps out from behind Ronta's net. He tries to get the puck down low. 7 seconds to go now for real in the second period. And that should do it as the puck trickles all the way down toward Markstrom. And unbelievably, John, we go into the room tied at 2 after a successful offside challenge. We are, John, getting a classic Cooper and John Ott game here. We're getting a little bit of everything, my friend.
See, Cooper, I feel bad when I want to go ahead and give you analysis and think there's going to be a goal call and confuse anyone that's following along on Clubhouse or YouTube, because I know you guys have popped in and out. But I know that there's iPads and everything else that are there, and I credit the crew on Calgary's side and Daryl Sutter to be able to see that from all the way back, because during our live play-by-play, there's no way we could have made that call.
Yeah, absolutely not. It certainly seemed like a standard dump in there. And yes, Aho was near the blue line, but the puck made its way in. I had no inkling that there would be an offside there, but Daryl Sutter and his video team, that's why they're paid the big bucks, because they saw what we didn't. And ultimately, Derek Stepan's attempt and shot that fluttered over Markstrom's glove. I mean, we can talk about the shot. Listen, we have not said Brent Burns' name too many times tonight. He was in the box. He did take a penalty for Carolina, but he did start that sequence, as you aptly noted. He sent that puck on net. He took a page out of Sutter's book and just tried to fire it on goal.
Yes.
It bounced around off some skates, and Derek Stepan was in the right place at the right time, and he scored, or so we thought.
That's exactly what I think it's going to take, and we'll especially see how this transition into the third period. So if we want to go through a little bit of an intermission reset here, let's do that. So it was 2 goals in the first period started by the Carolina Hurricanes. At the 144 mark, it was Aho from Teravainen, and then Calvin DeHaan at 10:28 from Paul Stastny and Stefan Noisen. And then 13:31, Calgary got the power play. It was Nazem Kadri, his second of the year, from Tyler Toffoli and Rasmus Anderson. And Brett Ritchie, you might want to go back to this one, Cooper, and talk about a pinball wizard off Antti Ranta from an impossible angle. That's where we are right now at 2-2.
Yeah, and Brett Ritchie, this is what I find interesting about the Ritchie shot. He's literally, the puck, I should say, is literally 1 foot off of the red line below Antti Ranta to Ranta's left. He got just enough time and space to fire a wrister, keeps it low along the ice. But, John, here's what I find most interesting. And I hope that he's interviewed after this game, regardless of the outcome, because I think he was genuinely trying to score. There was no teammate of Brett Ritchie's out front for a rebound attempt. I think he was genuinely trying to pull his best Johnny Gaudreau impression, and he was shooting to score, and he did.
Yeah, I definitely think so, because I noticed that too during that whole time. And sometimes, like they say, you fire at the puck and good things can happen. And we figure it out. Right now, we're sitting at 2-2. We thought it was going to be 3-2 Carolina, and now we're going to figure out what's going to happen in this third. So interesting enough, again, I know there's people on the YouTube side, and I want to get this question there because you told me to keep an eye on Toffoli, and Jay has been putting some things that he wants to talk about. So I'm going to ask you this, Cooper. I know it's early in the season, but it's never too early to talk about trades, is it not? So, what do you guys think of the Flames possibly trading for Patrick Kane? I like the idea, says Jay.
You know, and Jay, and I think some of the Flames media on Sportsnet 960, the fan in Calgary, I think that they are thinking the same thing that a lot of Flames fans are. You know, the difficulties that the Blackhawks have had over the past several seasons, it may not be a case where they're able to keep or even want to keep the two most stalwart cornerstone pieces of their franchise from the past decade, Jonathan Toews and Patty Kane. And the latter of those two is a trade target, potentially, for Calgary. I think that Tyler Toffoli brings a lot to this Flames team, but I'm putting an asterisk on that. I think he brings a lot when he is slotted in where he is best slotted in, and that's on line 2, even line 3. I just don't know if he has the level of dynamism to his game at this point in his career. Not that he's extremely long in the tooth, but I don't know if he has the speed and the type of flair that Jonathan Huberdeau sort of needs to spark his own game. It's something that is, I think, being noticed across Flames Nation right now. The way that Toffoli plays doesn't necessarily fit in with the games of Lindholm and Huberdeau, his line mates. And so Patty Kane, to answer the question, and Jay, thank you very much for bringing this up. You know, I will say that Pat Steinberg, who calls games and is the host for a number of different Flames shows for the Sportsnet, he believes that it's a bit, as he put it the other day, pie in the sky. He doesn't necessarily think it's the most likely transaction to happen, but he and I agree on this, and John, you can tell me what you think. I think it is the most ideal transaction. Whether or not it actually takes place is a different story.
So let's talk about that for a second there. When you use that terminology, pie in the sky, I also thought it'd be pie in the sky to be able to trade for Mackenzie Weegar, Jonathan Huberdeau, a first-round pick, Cole Schwinn, and then also get Nazem Kadri in the offseason.
Yes, indeed. You're absolutely right. No, continue your thoughts. I'm just agreeing with you, but you make an excellent point.
Because that's what I'm thinking. Because if Brett Treliving goes and he says, look, we get the 7 out of 10 to start, we're going to go into a long road stand. We know what Calgary is going to be in the Pacific Division, right? And let's see what happens with Patrick Kane. He's not scored a goal in 5 games. He doesn't look like the same guy, but I'm not going to sit here and say Patrick Kane isn't that guy anymore. There's just not anybody else on the Chicago Blackhawks roster. And if we go a step further, I heard an interesting stat as I was watching them lose in the Red Wings to the Blackhawks last night at the United Center in OT. Guess how much money the Blackhawks have committed next season? $25 million. So you can't expect Patrick Kane to be able to put up all world numbers. I think if you throw him on that first line there and you move Toffoli down, as you and Jay aptly noted, either the second or third line, I think that would make a lot of sense and maybe something I believe that honestly could happen.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, you know, the only thing is, as we talk about this Flames team, let's just go with hypothetical. Let's say that Patty Kane does come over from Chicago to the Flames, and if anyone can do it, to your point, John, who am I to question Brad Treliving?
Right.
He can do no wrong. He can do anything he wants, apparently. I'm not sure what secrets he has on the other GMs in the NHL, but he seems to be pulling all the strings right now, and no one is saying no to him, I guess. But let's go with the hypothetical. We have the time. We have the intermission. Let's go with it. So Patrick Kane comes over. Let's say he bumps Toffoli down in the lineup for the Flames and Daryl Sutter. So you have Dylan Dubé, you have Andrew Mangiapane on that effectively the second line. And both of them have actually been quite good, especially Mangiapane for the game. Mangiapane's game has really grown over the past few years for Calgary. And then you have some players down a little further. You have your, obviously we know where Nazem Kadri sits on that second line, centering that unit. But let's talk about players like Lucic. You have Richie, who scored tonight, the Trevor Lewises of the world, who do bring a lot to the squad. Maybe not in terms of point generation, but I can say confidently that Daryl Sutter isn't going to want to lose a player like Trevor Lewis, for example. Is there anyone you can think of that gets bumped out of the lineup and is sitting up in the press box if Patrick Kane were to come over?
Because that's the difficult part then, right, Cooper? Because when you're thinking about Kevin Rooney, there's your center spot, so you're not moving him. Lucic does bring some good physicality, but I also think at some point he's that cap casualty. He's not going to be here much longer. So I would say maybe Lucic or Richie would be my guess off the jump.
Yeah, I agree, but Richie's actually been great so far early in the season. He scored the Flames' first goal of the year,
right,
which I find interesting. And then he puts in this goal tonight. And, this one, probably 1 out of 100 of those shots goes in. And, he hit the lottery. He scores off a rant skate with that nice sharp ankle shot. But, it's not a question we even necessarily need to answer right now. I just find it interesting to think about, even if it's not Patrick Kane. If there's someone else made available by another team, we could go down a list of names, a whole host of names. And I think the Flames would still want to be very careful about mixing up or losing any spark or chemistry in those lines below the top line, too. You have to consider those contributions as well.
I'll definitely, just while we're on the subject real quick to close it out, I know the Red Wings play the Anaheim Ducks tomorrow at ESPN about 5. So let's say the Red Wings, because they got some difficult injuries on my own end. I'll bring this up. So Jacob Vrana is going to be out for personal reasons, and the Red Wings have not commented as far as what they are. He could be out for a while. And Tyler Bertuzzi might be out for about a little over a month. So those are some big injuries. And David Perron and Dominic Kubalik, I bring up their names because they've been really well through this season. But if the Red Wings fall out, David Perron and Dominic Kubalik are on team-friendly deals, and all Calgary would have to provide is those old draft picks if they want to make the move there with Steve, is my guess. I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay, now listen, let's lean into your expertise, my friend. So let's go this way. Of those two names you just mentioned, which do you think, based on what you've seen, because listen, you and I, we team up, I've forced you over time to pay more attention to Calgary than I think you ever probably would have predicted. Based on what you've seen from the Flames last year, of course they're a vastly different team without Matthew Tkachuk, without Johnny Gaudreau. We've covered it. We all know it. From what you've seen so far this year, knowing some strengths, knowing some weaknesses, which of those two Red Wing names that you mentioned do you think would fit in the best with Daryl Sutter's squad?
David Perron, instant one-timer goal. He gets shots. He creates offense. I know he's a little bit long in the tooth. I think he's 34 now. He's only signed for the 2 years at like the 9 million something mark. I think it's about 7.5 right now. So I'd say David Perron instantly. If you want offense, that'd be something where you wouldn't have to flutter your lines and you could throw him on a second line if you needed to.
Yeah, I mean, that's a name known around the league as a leader, a point getter, a goal scorer, and also a hard-nosed player as well. I mean, as a Red Wings fan, would you be disappointed if you were to move on and you get those picks? Or frankly, and you can be honest, safe space here, would you rather have those picks to continue building that Red Wings team?
Well, here's the thing. I'd be disappointed right now because he's been one of the leaders for the Red Wings while their depth's been tested. But I also know, just like you, and I'll throw Brad Treliving into that mark, but Steve Yzerman's been willing and dealing trying to get this team right through his 4th season. And if there's anyone I trust, just like Brad Treliving right now, I'll throw his name in, but if there's anyone I trust, it's Steve Yzerman as far as building the team.
Oh, yeah. I mean, anyone who questions that is unaware of the state of hockey these days. Yzerman, just like Brad Treliving, basically makes it seemingly, listen, time will tell, but seemingly makes all the right calls. And Yzerman has been in a challenging situation, and all sorts of credit to him.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, he's sitting up and watching these games from on high, and I'm sure is the last person who wants to see any of the players that he's brought in to build what the Red Wings are right now. He's probably the last person who wants to see anyone with any injury issues, having played so admirably and fought through issues himself in his career, and really with a lot of luck in that Hall of Fame career. I can only imagine that's what he wants for his players. And also, just, hey, as your pal, as an honorary Red Wings fan, and rooting for that team. Listen, hockey is better when the Red Wings are excellent. I fully believe that. I've believed it for many, many years, even when they've taken down the Flames, even when they've been in the way of my favorite team. It's been tough to see these early season injuries for Detroit, and I certainly hope that they don't derail what looks to be some real improvement.
No, I appreciate that, man, because the pieces that are brought in have been good. And hey, you know what? What could end up happening at some point? If Detroit can figure it out in a couple of years and Calgary's got their window open in a couple of years, we could see each other in the Stanley Cup final. That'd be a dream.
Oh, it's been far too long. I mean, gosh, now, of course, any Flames fan worth anything will always take an opportunity to mention the 0-4 run. So, of course, I'll take my chance to mention the 0-4 run. And I can vividly remember the Flames playing the Red Wings in the second round that year, and it was just a fantastic series, one that was finished by the Eliminator, Marty Jelena, for the Flames, who's been with the organization, the Calgary organization, for many years now. I'm just going down memory lane, and I'm going to age myself here. I wanted to make sure I had those games for posterity. I wanted to be able to watch them again. So every time the Flames were on, I would pop a cassette into the VCR, John, and I'd record those games back in the early 2000s, and those tapes are still somewhere. I might have to get out the old VCR one these days.
That's great, man. There's totally nothing wrong with that, because I have to relive a lot of memories nowadays, because I'll just be honest here. I know we're in the intermission. It's going to be closing shortly, but all my Detroit pro teams are struggling right now. So really the only thing we got is the Red Wings here, besides college, and I love college more than anyone too. But it's really the Red Wings or bust. So I'm hoping for good things, but I know it's going to take a couple more seasons. But you have to be ecstatic. Again, I know we talked about it before, but with all the moves that have happened, I don't care the schedule anomalies or not, but I'm telling you at home, Calgary's got a real opportunity right now, not only to continue to build on the things that they were doing last year, and you have to get through those early season doldrums. I understand there's a lot of new pieces, but I also think there's a lot of guys in that locker room, Cooper. I know that Tkachuk and Gaudreau are not there anymore, but there's a lot of guys in that locker room saying, man, if we could just get back there and do what we did and just get to that second round and make that next push. And I know that's hard to battle through because we're early in the season, but I do believe that in my heart. These guys are thinking if we could just get back there and make something happen, we can make this push, and we have a really good team to do so.
Yeah, listen, I of all people I'd want to hear that from, it'd be you. I mean, you know what you're talking about, and I certainly trust your assessment. I agree with it. I don't feel like it's the homer in me. I try to be a good fan and a good analyst and be as neutral as possible. And I think the things that we've talked about during this break are very timely. I think that the Flames brought in incredible players. Nazem Kadri has been outstanding in this early part of the season. And that was my biggest concern. Now, listen, Huberdeau has not been, I think, as outstanding as Kadri, but you see it. You see it from him. I feel like Huberdeau really is committed to succeeding with Calgary, not just because he signed the massive extension, but you see it in his play that he wants those assists. He wants to set up his teammates on the doorstep. He wants to be the top point getter. You can see it in there's a drive in his play, and what we talked about 10 minutes ago about Patrick Kane, that conversation will continue, and I do believe that the Flames are one more piece away. I think you have a set blue line. I think you have set complementary lines. It's just that top end right wing that probably needs to be brought in. And now, my friend, I am very tempted because Perron was not on my radar, and now, unfortunately, he very much is. So we'll have to keep an eye on that situation.
It ultimately depends on what happened with the Red Wings. Look, I'm not hoping for a collapse, but I also know, just like you did when we were thinking about trade deadline show, and who could leave and who could get into the playoffs. Look, Boston Bruins have been much, much better than expected. I think you even said that might be one of the teams I would miss. I picked the Capitals, but they were supposed to go through a lot of injury concerns throughout the year, and they look no worse for wear right now. So it ultimately depends on what happens in the standings, but that would be the name I would think of between Perron and Kubalik because it's 2-year deals, and that just seems to make too much sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And obviously you're right. It depends on a lot of circumstantial elements. But you and I certainly will keep our eyes on that. And just before, here's just a classic move for two broadcasters. So let's just run quickly through the games around the NHL. We have a baker's dozen tonight, lucky 13 games, whereas last night just the 3. So let's go through some of these scores here, John. I know you've done this for me many times. I'll break it down here real quickly. So we've touched on a lot of these, but we'll just go top to bottom. So the Philadelphia Flyers take down the Nashville Predators in Nashville by a final score of 3-1. The LA Kings fall to the Washington Capitals by a final score of 4-3. Your winning goal there by Marcus Johansson. And let's take a look at the Toronto Maple Leafs handling the Winnipeg Jets by a comfortable final of 4-1. The Montreal Canadiens at home in Quebec lose to the Dallas Stars by a score of 5-2. Tampa Bay Lightning take down the Islanders at home in Tampa Bay 5-3. The Penguins, as we said earlier, scoring 6 goals yet again to just 3 to Columbus, beating Columbus there. The Senators 6-2 over the Coyotes. Getting shut out in Edmonton are the Oilers by the Blues 2-0. The Boston Bruins win in overtime 4-3 over Minnesota. The Devils win 2-1 over the Sharks. Sabres 2-1 over the Canucks. And we have a couple of games going on right now, and one of those is Calgary versus Carolina, and we are underway here in the third period with about 10 seconds elapsed. 20 shots in the game for Calgary, 14 for Carolina, as the Hurricanes hold in right now at the right point and send this one along the dasher, and it's dropped off to Markstrom's his right, and that one actually ricocheted, I think, off the outside of the goal. Now streaking the other way for the Flames is Elias Lindholm. He tries to fight for the puck there down in the corner and cannot come up with possession. Trying to keep it in there for the Flames is Weegar. It will bounce across. That was not Weegar. That was Blake Coleman. They don't even have similar numbers, so I'm going to have to correct myself there. It's held in by the Flames and knocked across from left to right toward the near half boards. Now Carolina does clear out, and Blake Coleman on the ice in the middle of that flaming sea is going to backhand it in, but it's gloved down by the Hurricanes and tapped over to Brent Burns, that Martin Necas. Now down there with a big hit is Zadorov on Necas, and he goes down. Looks to be popping up very quickly, though, as Blake Coleman is still out on the ice. He's been out for the entire period so far, about 1 minute and 20 seconds, and the puck is picked up by Carolina. They streak in toward Markstrom, and it's left there in the right corner, picked up and carried along by Svechnikov. Back down to the half boards and over to Brent Burns. He goes right point to left point. It's fluttered forward from a distance, and Markstrom watches that puck bounce aside, and it's fired right on, bounces off the backside of one of the Flames, and Markstrom didn't have to make a save there. And now coming out the other way, 2-on-1 is Kadri. Kadri goes with the wrister, and I think that one is saved off the tip of the glove by Ranta. So some more end-to-end action here to start the third, as we have some extracurricular down in the corner there. Svechnikov tied up with, I think, Dylan Dubé, and the play is whistled down. We're going to get an interference call, John.
So Necas got messed up by Zadorov on the other end. He's just trying to get a shot in. He got a little how do you do, and the Majapani being held in there as Nazem Kadri was able to get a good shot there on Antti Ranta. So Nikita Zadorov bringing the pain there on Marty Necas. You got to be ready as he drops his stick.
Yes, indeed. Third pairing or not, Zadorov is going to make an impact. He did against Necas. And we have interference against Svechnikov, who checked Mangiapane from behind. And so the Flames' top power play unit is on for the 4th time tonight. Rasmus Andersson skates left to right along the blue lines. The Flames hold in. It's tabbed back to Andersson at the right point. He goes right to left to Huberdeau. Huberdeau tries to find, this has been the story of Huberdeau's season so far, tries to go high to low, can't do so, and the Hurricanes will break back out, and now the Flames pick up in their own end. 1:34 to go here in the power play, and this one is carried in blatantly offside by the Flames, and play is whistled down. So about 2 minutes and 18 seconds have expired here in the third period, and we're seeing more of what we saw near the end of the second, aren't we, John?
We are. We're seeing a lot of physical battles here. I don't want to hit the repeat button too much here for Jonathan Huberdeau, but Little too much passing here over the last few times. I'd love to see him get a couple rippers on net.
I agree. I think he needs to take a page out of Brent Burns' book and just put that on net. You know, he's trying to find his teammates, which is certainly admirable. But sometimes you just got to get your feet moving and make something out of nothing. So here come the Calgary Flames. Michael Backlund tries to carry in. It's actually deflected off of a stick blade. I think that was Dubé tapping it into the left corner. That's where the Flames will fight for it, and they do not come away with it. The Hurricanes will clear. I've been struggling all night getting Carolina, Calgary, Hurricanes, Flames. And right now, I can confidently say the Flames have sent the puck down to Antti Ranta's trapezoid, where he tries to clear, and I believe the puck is deflected up into the net. Play whistle down once again. So 57 seconds to go here in the fourth man advantage of the night for Calgary, John. Just one goal on the power play. That's by Nazem Kadri, who we see right now on our Sportsnet feed. And this would be a time for Calgary to capitalize. They often struggle when it comes to these power play attempts, and the Flames have looked so good early in the season until that Buffalo game a couple nights ago when it came to special teams.
Yeah, since one of those situations with the faceoff going to begin underway, that Carolina can have that turnstile. They've been good on the penalty kill, so we'll see what Calgary can do here.
Absolutely. So Lindholm's going to send this one high to low, and it's down again. Excuse me, I thought it was Richie again, but we actually have Tyler Toffoli with a shot right on, and he puts that one into the breadbasket of Ranta. So I guess the sharp angle shots are not giving the Flames any consternation. They are taking them when they can get them. But Ranta in excellent position right there, and basically Toffoli just hit the bullseye. He hits the A in the Canes, descending down the chest of the goaltender for Carolina.
I can't think of
in the face-off circle again. Sorry to cut you off there, John. I'll let you jump back in just momentarily as Rasmus Andersson has the left point. And this one is fired on from a sharp angle yet again. Nazem Kadri turned and fired that wrister. But Ranta in good spot once more. Now Kadri in the left half boards. He's near the face-off circle. Tries to cycle this one back to Rasmus Andersson, but does so too gently. And it's fired back down by Carolina right on Markstrom. And he has to stop that puck and leaves it for the Swedish defenseman Rasmus Andersson. So 15 seconds to go here in the power play for the Flames. They are just onside. Toffoli is still on this shift. He pushes Brent Burns off the puck, and Kadri will cycle it all the way back. But excuse me, the puck does not actually make it out of the corner. It's off of a skate and up into the net. So, John, I cut you off about a minute ago. Do you remember what you were going to comment there? Step on it.
I was just going to say, which is going to make me laugh, I can't think of so many impossible angle shots in one game, but both teams are just, like you said, no consternation. We're inside the red line. Let's let it go.
Yeah, any angle, any shot attempt, they're going to take it. That has been the case so far as there are 8 seconds to go here. Backlund versus Aho. And Aho loses to number 11 for the Flames. And this one's fired right on. There's a rebound out front, but no Flame on the doorstep as the penalty expires. So coming out of the box is Svechnikov. And Chris Tanev dumps one of the Hurricanes. Couldn't get a television number there to see who went down, but no worse for wear. They're up now. Here come the Flames. Backlund tries to dipsy-do around Slavin. He puts this one on backhand. Rebound comes out again to the high slot, but unlucky for the Flames. Zadorov is fighting against, I believe, Svechnikov. No, make that Martin Necas. And Zadorov lost his stick. He heads back to the bench. And here come the Carolina Hurricanes, left to right on your radio dial. Great move right there. Zadorov gets beaten, and the blocker stop by Markstrom is incredible. What a timely save right there. His top stop of the night. That last shot, almost 82 miles per hour from literally about 5 feet away. 15-20 to go here in the third, and Carolina could have easily made it 3-2, but we remain tied at 2 apiece. So Britt Ritchie, whose name we've said quite a bit tonight, he's on the forecheck right there. Does a good job of pressuring Carolina, but they come out cleanly. They don't have numbers, though, so this one will be cycled down low, and Markstrom can't find it. It's behind him in the trapezoid, just off of his right shoulder, picked up there by Milan Lucic, but he cannot clear successfully. Now that puck flutters across the crease, and it's held in by Carolina. In the high slot, there's a snapshot attempt. Somebody lost a glove. John, it's a classic Cooper John contest. We're getting everything, my friend. 14:45 to go here. One of the Carolina Hurricanes blows a tire. That is 7. Oh, my gosh, it's Noisen. I think I got his name right for the first time. Here comes Nazem Kadri. He streaks in, but he loses possession. Mangiapane trying to forecheck, but the Carolina Hurricanes hold it at the blue line. They will carry in. There's a shot from the right faceoff dot to Markstrom's right, I should say. And the Flames fighting for the puck in their own end of the ice. This one flutters forward, and is knocked out by Calgary and then stood up but not going down to the ice. And Mangiapane comes forward. Dylan Dubé now loses the puck, and we're going end to end here, John. It's going to be the next goal wins. You said it last period. I think that is what we're looking at dead in the face right now. 14 minutes to go, so 6 have elapsed here in the third period, and Carolina sends it right back into the Flames' end. So Dylan Dubé picks up. He tries to carry in. He will chip this one in, but it's off of a body, and I think it went up and out of play, potentially into the players' bench. John, help me out here. What are you seeing, my friend? We got gloves flying. We have Nikita Zadorov losing his stick. We got shot attempts. There's so much happening, but we're still tied at 2.
So let's get to the prime scoring opportunity, and that was an excellent save by Jacob Markstrom on Jesperi Kotkaniemi, breaking in all alone on Zadorov. Backhand, forehand stop there by Markstrom. And then Zadorov, just before that, he dropped his stick. I thought he was going to punch somebody in the face, so I was going to get excited to see that. Then we had gloves all over the place. We had chances everywhere. We're back to the fast-paced action when it was just the last probably 8 minutes of the second period, third period extended combined where it was pretty slow. Now we're getting back into scoring opportunities, so we'll see who takes this one. It's been fun.
Sorry, John, a little technical difficulty with the old mute button right there. So we're back here with the commercial break. And, you know, I remain steadfast on my focus. I don't want to be, leaning too hard toward it, but the Flames, I think, win this game if they get 10% more from their first line. I'm not expecting that top line to do everything for the Flames. And, in fact, they've had a ton of different goal scorers this season. They've had assists from their blue liners. They've had, Richie tonight. We're talking third and fourth liners making impacts. But if they get just a bit more, and I think it's to your point from a few times in tonight's game, if Huberdeau just flips the switch and thinks shot first instead of pass first, I'm just wondering if with his skill level, he's able to turn the tide tonight for the home team.
Yeah, and I want to make the point of immediacy and then make the point for the road trip later, because Huberdeau, yes, he could do that and turn the switch right now, and Calgary can win this game. But I wonder if that confidence will stretch into when Calgary goes in a long road stand and they just say, let's go, man. You scored 30 goals last season, and be confident, make your passes when you can make them, shoot it when you can make them, we trust you.
Absolutely, and it bears mentioning once again that this game was 3-2 Carolina, but the goal by Derek Stepan waved off due to a Sebastian Aho offside challenge that was won by Daryl Sutter and his video team. So we remain tied at 2, 23 shots for Calgary, 18 for Carolina, 13 minutes, 46 seconds to go here in the third period. Now Calgary has the puck bounce off of a body in Carolina's end, but they cannot possess the puck. It will be sent out to center ice and taken along there by Aho. Rasmus Anderson makes a nice push in the corner, but can't come up with a puck. And this one is deflected on. No goal. It's loose in the blue paint. No goal. Markstrom down. He snow angels and closes the legs. John, how did the puck stay out? It's still 2-2.
I'm just happy I didn't scream on that one because I don't know how the puck didn't go in there. Markstrom falls right on it. It's Aho. It's everybody else there in the middle of the paint. Markstrom's got the smile on, and everybody's looking at the scoreboard right now.
Boy, everyone, including us. So let's take a look at this one. It's sent in by Aho, a beautiful cross-ice pass. Slavin has all sorts of net to look at, and I think the puck bounced up and across, maybe hit the crossbar. Markstrom does get a pad on that one, and it flutters. The puck flutters above the crossbar, falls back down underneath Markstrom's backside, and I think Jarvis comes in. He jams away, and Markstrom's helmet is literally in the back of the cage as he closes the pads and somehow keeps it tied. Unbelievable. So we'll keep the play-by-play going here. Markstrom, worth noting, 6-4-1 in his career versus the Hurricanes, looking to make that 7-4-1. But we have ourselves a very tight contest as the Flames backhand this one into the zone. And chasing down there is the former Tampa Bay Lightning man, Blake Coleman. So Coleman, this has been a refrain for me so far tonight. Flames not able to keep the possession, but Coleman able to knock it over to Michael Backlund. Michael Backlund battling in the trapezoid, gets it to Coleman. Coleman can't keep the puck on a stick. Bodies going down everywhere. And I think we have a potential icing here as Chris Tanev skates down. Svechnikov can't beat him. So the Flames will have the face-off to the right of Antti Ranta. My goodness, John, what can we say? This has been a wild one.
So just before that, to go back in the previous scoring opportunity, the puck is flipping up near the air toward the left crossbar in behind Markstrom when he falls on it to be able to make the save. That is utterly ridiculous.
Absolutely. It is just incredible that did not bounce off of his backside or the numbers on the back of his jersey and just trickle in. But we remain tied at 2. Carolina seemed to be closer to getting the advantage in this game, but nope, it's still 2-2. The Flames can't keep it in here, and the puck bounces off some skates, but is slapped back through the neutral zone. Milan Lucic will, I think, well, my goodness, he seemed to be the first one down, but the icing will be whistled. So we'll go the other way, and the Hurricanes will have a face-off to the left of Jacob Markstrom.
Those icing calls are very subjective. Sometimes, like we're watching baseball playoffs in the ALCS or NLCS, sometimes they get the call wrong. I thought Lucic was there first.
So did I, and I think the entire Flames team did. I even know Daryl Sutter thought that based on the look on his face. 12 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in the third period, and the puck is loose in front. Zadorov was on his rear end, and he gets Jacob Markstrom a quick tap on the pad as Markstrom bailed him out. Zadorov couldn't cover his man right outside the blue paint. That one deflects on. Markstrom has to cover up and does so successfully.
Derek Stepan battling in between the blue paint. He wanted to get the goal back that was rescinded. Good effort there by Carolina.
Absolutely. You know, he's motivated to get that score back for his team and for his own stats. Right now, the Flames do have possession. It's Zadorov shoveling it along the right side, along that right wall, but the puck comes trickling back into Michael Stone. Haven't said his name a great deal. Now chasing down is Andrew Mangiapane, I believe, and he is able to clear the puck. Icing will be waved off as Carolina chases this down. That's number 44, Calvin DeHaan. DeHaan, one of the goal scorers tonight for Carolina. And here comes the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes they are bothered down in the right corner by Noah Hannafin. With the puck there momentarily was Seth Jarvis, but Hannafin did a great job to wall him off. And we have a delayed penalty coming up against the Flames, and they do touch up. I'm not sure who this is on, John. Daryl Sutter's PO'd. I'm confused. It looks like it's going to be Hannafin, who was making some nice plays, but he gets whistled for, I think, a slash here.
It looks like that play previous with Seth Jarvis in the right boards when the stick got dislodged out of his hand. That's why he's going to the box. It's hooking at the 8:24 mark.
You're right. Yes, he did get the stick blade across the gloves of Jarvis and pulled him off of the shot attempt and drove him to the corner. It looked like a clean play to me, but the refs are a little closer than we are, my friend. So 2 minutes on the board here for Carolina, not what the Flames need right now, and Carolina comes away winning that faceoff. There's a shot deflected on, but wide of the net. So not on to Markstrom. Didn't have to answer the bell right now, but Carolina keeps it in. 5 men on the ice for Carolina, 4 for the Flames. 15 seconds have elapsed here in the power play. Brent Burns goes right to left. There's a shot that was right on, but hit a body. And once again, players going down in the high slot. This one shot on and doesn't make it to Markstrom. So the Carolina Hurricanes know what they're looking for. They're putting the puck on net from literally anywhere. 30 seconds gone here in the power play. The Flames look to clear, and they will just be able to do so as Brent Burns collects near the penalty boxes. And here comes Carolina once again. Markstrom comes out of his paint, stops the puck in the trapezoid, and sending it right up the center of the ice for the Flames. About 50 seconds have elapsed here in the penalty. 8 of 9 on the penalty kill in the last few games of the Flames. And streaking up on the right side is Martin Necas. He holds possession for Carolina. Now working behind the office of Markstrom is, I believe that's Teravainen. And with 50 seconds to go here in the power play, Carolina with some extended zone time, as you can imagine. Up at the blue line are the Hurricanes. There's a shot right there. Markstrom didn't seem to see it. Might have gone off his mask. That shot right on by Martin Necas. Carolina still has possession. Tons of zone time here on this power play for Carolina. That one touched across and back to the blue line. Holding there is Neusen. Neusen sends down low. It's backhanded back out to the blue line. Over to the face-off dot to Markstrom's right. 17 seconds to go here in the power play. There's a slapper. That one's to the right of Markstrom. I think that hit the outside of the net. 10 seconds to go here in the power play. Martin Necas with it. And this one's just past the outstretched stick. And now back to the blue line. This has been all Carolina But then gloved is the puck by Markstrom as the penalty expires. My goodness, John, how did the Canes not score there?
I was just going to say, Jacob Markstrom, Calgary's got to feel happy that he was able to just stop the play there because Marty Natchez, again, he was trying to aim for the top of the crossbar, and he just missed that. And they had the puck in the zone the entire time. So I don't know how they dodged that bullet there. It was good puck possession by Carolina, but Calgary did what they had to do, and thankfully they got a stop there and a seal by Markstrom.
Wow, I mean that's what the Flames need to see from Markstrom early in games. You know, it seems like an eon ago that he let in that 5-hole goal about a minute and a half into the game. He's really been dialed in. I know he's given up 2, but John, what have you thought as the game has continued about Markstrom's play?
He's looked more poised and he's comfortable inside the net. Look, Carolina's had stretches in this game where they've just had more puck possession. I will leave it at that. He's been tested. I know some of those shots, if you went high and wide above or left or right of the crossbar, but he looks like he's been tracking the puck well and he feels good. And I guess they would feel fortunate too that there was an offside and Derek Stefan's goal did not count.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, another thing, we've obviously talked about Tyler Toffoli. We've talked about what the Flames are hoping for from Jonathan Huberdeau. We've talked about contributions from those third and fourth line wingers. But, you know, I'm seeing a little bit of a struggle from some of the Calgary blue liners tonight. Noah Hannafin has not had a fantastic game. He was beaten once by Slavin to the left of Markstrom in the second period. He takes the penalty there as he tries to drive his man into the corner. Have you noticed anything about Hannafin's game tonight in one way or the other?
No, I think that's fair to say there, Cooper. But I also, again, they've struggled, but I wouldn't just put it just on him. And I know that you're not. I think Calgary's kind of struggled with that too. I think Carolina, with the amount of forwards that they can have that do have the good 200-foot game between Aho, Teravainen, and Jarvis, alongside with the elite defense that they have, does have reasons why Calgary is struggling a little bit tonight in that end of the neutral zone.
Yeah, and we're just about to get into action here. Another number I'm going to keep an eye on is 52 for the Flames, Mackenzie Weegar. He has disappeared a bit as the game has gone on. There's a shot glove through traffic. Slavin with that left-handed snapshot gets right to Markstrom in a hurry, and he closes that trapper and makes yet another save.
You were just talking about Markstrom trying to look more confident. I don't care how many people think that was an easy save or not. That was through traffic, and that was an immediate, confident glove. He knew where the puck was.
Absolutely. He was like a rock right there, kept that puck frozen. And right now, the Carolina Hurricanes, unsurprisingly, holding possession in the Flames' end. This has got to change, or the score will change, and Calgary will not be happy. But here's a 2-on-2 the other way, partial breakout. But the puck is knocked off a stick by Brent Burns, longtime Shark. He took it off of Lindholm's stick. And now the Flames try to possess down low. Huberdeau can't find it. But the Flames keep it momentarily. That's Zadorov at the blue line. Puck trickled all the way out toward the logo at center ice, and the Flames will dump it back in. So less than 9 minutes to go now, and the shots are almost even. 24 for Calgary, 23 for Carolina. The goals even exactly at 2-2 as the breakout begins for Carolina. There's a pass to the right side. Here comes Marty Natchez. He tries to cut in, and it's chipped away by the Flames. Now trying to break out is Kadri. He has Dylan Dubé with him, and just like they've been doing all night, Kadri shoots from a crazy angle way out by the face-off circle. And the Flames cannot hold in there as Mangiapane's beaten. The puck goes bouncing all the way down. Weegar with a nice stretch to hold possession and gives it to Kadri. Kadri backhands this one down low. Dubé chasing after it and cannot keep it in. The puck is cycled deep all the way to Markstrom, who will paddle this puck and leave it for Noah Hannafin, who we spoke about just a few minutes ago. 8 minutes to go here in the third, and the Flames are fighting for the puck near the red line at center ice. Blake Coleman tries to soccer-style kick that to himself. Cannot keep possession. The puck flutters over toward the Flames bench, where Brett Ritchie, the number 2 goal scorer for the Flames, who tied this game with that incredible tight angle shot earlier, he had it momentarily, keeps the skate on the blue line there as Milan Lucic skates in. And here comes Kevin Rooney. Boy, haven't talked a lot about Rooney tonight, but the former Ranger loses possession right there. Luckily, the Flames are able to keep it near their own blue line. It's deflected all the way down ice. No icing call. Aho picks up with 7:20 to go in the third. Blake Coleman on the forecheck. And carrying right there for Carolina is, I believe, Jalen Chatfield. That's a third pairing defenseman for Carolina. and they will hold at center ice. Trevor Lewis fights for the puck right there, and it bounces all the way back down toward Antti Ranta. He will paddle it aside, picked up by Brent Burns. Brent Burns with the beard, relatively short right now, close to the chin. He sends that one up for a shot right on. It's saved by Markstrom with the right pad. And the Flames come away with it. Coleman on that left-hand side. He gets tangled up with Brent Burns. We're going to have a penalty. And I think it's going to be a penalty against the Flames, yes, indeed, because Carolina has the puck. I think we're going to get a cross-check or interference against Blake Coleman, John. I'll get your thoughts momentarily as the Flames touch up and Burns heads to the bench.
Looks like from what I just saw, Brent Burns had a little bit of cut near her face. Yeah, he got a cross-check right into Brent Burns' mouth. So that's definitely what I would see right there. That was a big-time hit as the two are battling for the puck.
Yes, indeed. And it looked inadvertent by Coleman. He was streaking in on the left side with some speed. Burns in his way. Obviously, that's a big body right there. And the cross-check comes up. They're going to call it a high stick because it did get up into the mouth and jaw area.
It is 4 minutes.
And it is 4 minutes as Burns has a pretty significant cut there on his lower lip, potentially on the inside of the lip. But 4-minute double minor to Blake Coleman. This could be the turning point of the game, could it not, John?
I don't want to be hyperbolic here, Cooper, but my thoughts exactly.
So the faceoff will come to Markstrom's right. Kotkaniemi versus, I believe that is Andrew Mangiapane. Excuse me, no, it's going to be Elias Lindholm, 28, not 88. Lindholm wins it momentarily, but it's between his legs, and Carolina will hold it. They're 0 for 2 tonight on the power play. This is their third opportunity. So time running shorter now, just 6.5 to go here in the third. 3 minutes, 45 seconds to go in this double minor. The puck is off the end boards behind Markstrom. Flames will try to clear. They go with a nice angled clear all the way down and into, eventually, the trapezoid of Antti Ranta. Thursday versus Edmonton, 2 for 5 were the Hurricanes on the power play. As they are now in on Markstrom, there's a back pass right there by number 24, Seth Jarvis, but it trickles all the way back down, and Ranta is out of his crease to corral this puck. So 45 seconds have elapsed here in the double minor. Pesce leaves that one for a teammate as the Carolina Hurricanes will break out. It's carried up by Seth Jarvis. The puck cycles around. It's in the right corner and backhanded out. Nice play right there by number 24, Brett Ritchie. Boy, he's had a game for Calgary here. Has really made a difference for the home team, as now less than 3 minutes to go in the power play, 5 minutes, 27 seconds to go in the third period. Now the Flames break out, have a potential breakaway opportunity. There's a pass that's off of a body, though. Mangiapane was looking for Backlund, who was streaking toward the Carolina blue line, and they could not connect the dots. Coming out now across the flaming sea are the Carolina Hurricanes, but the Flames, they jump on an errant puck right there, and they will knock it all the way back down. So nice penalty kill right here for the Flames, don't you think so far, John?
Absolutely. It's exactly what you want, but they still got halfway left to go on it.
Yes, indeed. And in the meantime, the Canes have evened the shot board. It's 24-24. That puck picked up by Chris Tanev, a great defensive leader for Calgary, former Vancouver man. He gets that one all the way back down to Ranta once again. So the first half of the double minor about to expire, 2:05 to 2:04 and counting. 4 minutes and 35 seconds on the clock in the third period. Carrying up on the right wing are the Canes. But the Flames do a good job yet again right there. Play is whistled dead. I think we have an offside call. So that's Carolina going offside unexpectedly, and the faceoff will come outside of the zone.
I have to give the Calgary Flames a lot of credit in this one respect. Their penalty kill in this game has been excellent. Yes, you can talk about Carolina maybe not being as sharp as you'd want them to be on the power play, but this is a big-time important moment in this game, and they've stepped up right now. So I'll get right back into the action just in case, because I said Cooper on mute right now. So Carolina will pick this one up now with Seth Jarvis. They got this on their power play with 1:30 left. And Calgary is just trying to kill this double minor as this goes back down the ice. Are you good here, boss?
Yes, indeed. Apologies about that. I was actually making the call, but needed to look at my microphone icon. I still have the slash through it. And that's what we had earlier. Well, it was a high sticking call. That's why Blake Coleman's in the box with a double minor alone in front with a huge save as Markstrom. The shot was on from Jarvis. Unbelievable. He was on the doorstep, and Carolina fighting for possession now along the right wall. It's held in right there and touched across on the backhand pass. A minute to go in the power play for the Canes. 3 swept into the blue line. Now here steps in is Jarvis once again, stepping in, I should say. The puck is loose, but held in by Carolina. Diving for the puck is Trevor Lewis. And now it's a 5-on-3. The puck is loose in front. The Flames clear. My gosh, John, what a sequence. You can probably hear it in my voice. The play-by-play is getting to me, my friend. 35 seconds to go here in the power play. 3:09 to go in the third. The Flames doing an excellent job on the penalty kill, as John Ott just mentioned moments ago. And the puck trickles out to the neutral zone. The Flames ever closer to closing out this penalty kill without giving up a tally. 19 seconds on the man advantage for the Canes. It's deflected in by Meaches all the way to Markstrom. He leaves for Rasmus Anderson, I believe, who fires all the way down, full length of the ice, and it's paddled aside by Ranta. 5 seconds to go here in the power play, 2:40 in the third. Nazem Kadri forechecking nicely there, and the Flames will take it away. That's Mackenzie Weegar. He tries to find Toffoli, who was streaking down the left wing. Toffoli could not make the connection. So 2:25 to go here in the third. 26 shots apiece. And the puck bounces out to the neutral zone near the Flames bench. Markstrom out of his crease now. He leaves this one for Weegar, the former Florida Panther. And this one is backhanded across and picked up now by Huberdeau, but he immediately is dispossessed. And that puck is picked up and carried in for the Canes by Jesper Fast. Now it's in the right corner to Markstrom's right. Puck trickles around. It's held in. Carolina and 2 Carolina Hurricanes, I should say, and 2 Flames fighting for the puck in the near corner. 1:50 to go in the third. Puck sent around, Huberdeau chasing down, but he can't get to it before the Carolina Hurricanes do. And this one is deflected up and into the netting. My goodness, John, what a sequence we've had. The Flames get out of that penalty unscathed, and Jarvis was right on the doorstep in the faceoff circle, and Markstrom makes a huge stop.
That was a gargantuan stop there by Markstrom on the other side. Then he's also trying to battle into the screen, pushing the man out of the way so you can see. So Markstrom's finding some of that Vezina form right now, but Calgary's got to close out the rest of this third as we got less than 2 minutes left.
Yes, indeed. 26 shots apiece, 2 goals apiece. No scoring here in the third, and the Flames doing the wave, as you said, the Flames fans here in the Saddle Dome. Milan Lucic, who has been pretty busy tonight. He's on his horse right there, chasing down the puck. The wave comes around again as Elias Lindholm tries to hold in, can't do so. And the Flames will reset with under 90 seconds to go here in regulation. Brett Ritchie fighting for the puck. He's able to do so as this one is tipped up and out of play. Face-off coming in the neutral zone. 1:20 to go here in the third, John.
I think aptly noted on the Sportsnet feed now that we're seeing is the penalty killing by the Calgary Flames, and you cannot mention this game without their level of penalty killing. That could be an easy reason why they get a point in this contest, and that's what they're hoping for at least, as we're getting close to crunch time.
Absolutely, and this is what we were talking about. The Flames just want to do better than they did against that Buffalo Sabres contest. That was an unexpected heavy loss for them, and they're already doing better tonight after having given up the first goal. The first 2, in fact. Now we have 1:05 to go in the third. It's 2-2 here in Alberta. We're at the Scotiabank Saddle Dome. John's in Michigan. I'm in California. Cooper Hopkins on your play-by-play. John Ott on the color. And the Flames are able to dispossess the Canes in their own end. And here comes Michael Backlund trying to step out and into the Cane zone. He's able to do so. Great job right there. That was 1-on-3. He was doing it alone. And now we have 42 seconds to go in the third. Stretch pass there is going to trickle all the way down toward Markstrom. Chasing down for the Canes is Kotkaniemi. But the Flames will come away with it. It's back in neutral ice and dumped back down by Carolina. So Rasmus Anderson comes up with the puck, has a little trouble getting the handle, and it's going to be back to Anderson as it bounces off of number 86, Teuvo Teravainen for the Canes. Now on the left wing here, with a little bit of speed, is Dylan Dubé. He tries to streak in. That puck is nicely checked away. I didn't get a number on that one. I think it was Chatfield, the blue liner for Carolina. We're inside 10 seconds. 7.5 to go. 6.5 to go. Flames with possession. Kadri chasing down to the right corner. Another sharp angled shot. It's bouncing. And we are going to overtime, John Ott.
I love it, Cooper. This has been the contest that we've tried to circle here and work together, and this is exactly what we want to see. Hurricanes and Flames going into OT. Let's do it.
Yes, indeed. Wow, we're going to get a break here, and then we're going to see some unique hockey, 3-on-3. Boy, the way this third period has gone, especially the last half of that third period, John, I almost want to see more 5-on-5. I want to get that playoff format because these are two teams that, without being a fan, truly putting a neutral hat on, I could see both of these teams playing for the Stanley Cup this year.
This is a preview. This is why we circled this one here, Cooper. No doubt about that. I mean, next Saturday, you and I could have the possible rematch for the Battle of Alberta again, and we can see that again. But right now, I'm glad we were able to do this contest. And both of these teams are really good when it comes to offense and defense and goaltending. You see it. And I will give Antti Raanta some credit there because, again, it's usually Freddie Anderson in net. He's been solid when he's needed to be. Nothing has been too outstanding. But I do think, to your point here, Cooper, as far as Jacob Markstrom, after the first couple goals, he's definitely settled down. And that sequence we had about 7-8 minutes in the third period, we had to fall on top of it in Snow Angel. That could have been the game. The 4-minute penalty kill could have been the game, and Calgary really answered through adversity in that third period.
So, okay, John, we have to put our prognosticator hats on here. So we're going to see some Lindholm. We're going to see some Huberdeau. Who we're going to see on the ice to start for Carolina, and if you had to pick it, who is your game-winning goal scorer tonight, or do you think we're going to the shootout?
I'm going to say I'll pick on both sides. I'll go Jonathan Huberdeau for the Flames. I'll go Sebastian Aho for Carolina.
I love it. I like the Huberdeau call. I actually think we're going to see Andrew Mangiapane for the Flames. I think if it's going to be Carolina, watch for the captain. Watch for Stahl to make a difference here as we have 5 minutes up on the clock. Overtime set to begin. 2-2 here at the Scotiabank Saddledome. On the ice, Slavin, Stahl, Necas, Huberdeau, Lindholm, Anderson for the Flames. And the puck is dropped one cleanly. Beautiful win right there on the backhand by Lindholm. Streaking back behind his own goal is Rasmus Anderson. He will get set and start this breakout 3-on-3. 10 seconds have elapsed here in overtime. What a contest we have between these teams. The Flames in red moving left to right. The Canes in white, right to left. And Lindholm with the puck, taking his time. He's now in the neutral zone near the flames of that logo. And here come the Flames. Lindholm's able to stay on. Huberdeau with the puck. Makes a nice move there on his left hand. He tries to swing it down, John. We talked about this all game. Goes for the pass instead of the shot in the high slot after he made room for himself. And could be a mistake right there as here come the Carolina Hurricanes. But the Flames have numbers back. It's dropped off right there. High slot, shot attempt. No, I thought we were going to get a shot right there, but it's held. It's being kept by Aho, and he goes all the way back to neutral ice. You see this during the overtime periods where these teams get reset, and the puck is lost between some skates. The Flames will take over and have an opportunity here. Coming up the right wing is Mackenzie Weegar with the slapper right into the bullseye. He hits the N on Canes on Ronta's chest. Now it's 2-on-1 the other way. There's the pass attempt that is missed by Svechnikov. It's a bouncing puck. Couldn't get a clean shot away. And the Carolina Hurricanes will remain in possession. It goes all the way back down to Antti Raanta, who paddles it forward to Svechnikov. Now the Canes will streak right in. Kadri on the ice for the Flames. Weegar as well. 3:25 to go here in the overtime. Carolina has had the best scoring chance so far. Now the puck's turned over. There's Kadri down inside the slot area, but he can't get the shot away. It's been the story of the night. The Flames only can seem to get clean shots if they're about 30 feet from the net and about at a 10-degree angle. So here comes Michael Backlund. He streaks in 2-on-1, but not the kind of 2-on-1 the Flames want. He waits for numbers, cycling back around now down low, and I think the puck may have glanced off the post or just wide and then off the end boards. He was looking, Backlund that is, was looking for Rasmus Anderson. 2:50 to go here in overtime. Calgary now with 29 shots officially, 26 for Carolina, and Carolina does hold the puck at the moment. Dylan Dubé on the forecheck. Here come the Hurricanes up the right side, but they're cutting across the ice now toward the penalty boxes. 3-on-3 overtime, 2:30 to go. Moving in is Aho. Aho thought about the backhand attempt, doesn't fire. And he leaves this one for a teammate in the right corner, looks like Brady Shea. So Shea with it fighting against Rasmus Anderson behind Markstrom. Shea has the puck in the corner. Necas all the way back at the Flaming Sea will hold the puck there. He is forechecked by Dylan Dubé, who jumps off for a change. Jonathan Huberdeau back on the ice for Calgary. Now stepping in is Necas. He has all the time in the world, and keeping a very steady right pad on the ice is Jacob Markstrom. That's a beautiful save right there. Potentially saved the game. Markstrom has looked solid since a bit of a shaky start in the first period. Now the Flames will possess at neutral ice. Fighting for the puck is Lindholm. He loses it to Slavin. Slavin down in the corner to the right of Markstrom. 1:40 to go in overtime. Svechnikov tries to kick it forward. It's out front. The backhand pass does not find its target. It's one-on-one the other way. Here comes Lindholm up the left side. Now he is dispossessed. Flames cannot get ozone time here. Inside 90 seconds to go. Still 2-2. Next goal wins it, or we head to a shootout, John Ott. Some crazy back and forth play here. Carolina has had the better of the chances as the puck is held here by Nazem Kadri. Looks for that pass, and it's loose in front. He gets knocked into Ranta. Now Kadri steps off of Ranta's back, and this one is tapped in front by Mangiapane. Kadri with a rebound attempt. Fans jumping to their feet, but the puck is turned aside. Inside a minute to go here. Markstrom tries the stretch pass as the Canes change. Here comes Trevor Lewis. No, make it Kadri. Kadri, he dips and doodles inside, and he can't find the net. 45 to go as he was toe dragging right to left. Kadri almost ended this game for the Flames. Now Rasmus Andersson settles down as I try to do the same. He has Lindholm to the left, but he'll do it himself up the right wing. Rasmus holds. There's the pass. The Flames shoot and score! And guess who, John Ott? Tyler Toffoli takes the pass from Rasmus Andersson, and this game ends in favor of the boys in red. 3-2 your final score. Tyler Toffoli with the OT winner.
Cooper, that's got to feel so good for Tyler Toffoli. It was just buzz after buzz after buzz. I thought Nazem Kadri a couple times on the doorstep was going to finish it off. Beautiful 2-on-1 pass there for Toffoli. Makes no mistake on the 1T. That's your game winner. What a contest, man.
Boy, I am astounded right here. Tyler Toffoli had not really made any significant impact in this game. He comes onto the ice with that right-handed shot. He's sent on. I'm actually getting the replay right now from the Sportsnet feed. You can see Daryl Sutter getting his protege ready. And Rasmus Andersson deserving huge credit here. He takes on two Carolina Hurricanes along the right wing. Tyler Toffoli waiting in the center of the slot and gets a beautiful tape-to-tape pass and makes absolutely no mistake, John.
Yeah, as you said, Rasmus Andersson beating two defenders, but I will credit Tyler Toffoli being in the spot for the position of the pass to get the shot off. That's exactly what you want. And that's exactly the response you want after losing the Buffalo Sabres. Look, we know they're an upstart team, but how about coming back playing the Carolina Hurricanes and winning an OT? That is how you answer if you're the Flames. You got to be happy if you're a Flames fan.
Yeah, what a huge bounce back game. And listen, Carolina, a tip of the cap. They're an excellent team. And they will make noise in the Eastern Conference, no question about it. But this, as the game continued, John, I think this is what we were both alluding to as we worked our way through the third period. It started to have the feel of a heavyweight fight, and you made the call early on. So I'm looking at you, my friend. You said next goal wins. And you were absolutely right.
And you made the call with Tyler. Wow, that's really cool on the Sportsnet feed. Do they always do that with the traditions there? That's so neat. Yeah, you made the call early there with Tyler Toffoli. And, man, he really showed up in a big way. And this is a matchup that I'm waiting to see, and I'm so glad we're able to do that. And then next Saturday, too, will be a big matchup with the Flames with the Edmonton Oilers. So if we can schedule another 10 o'clock game next weekend, we will definitely do that. So I would be looking forward to that. And one point I want to make as far as the game, I am glad in that overtime that it ended up the way that it did, not just to be a homer or anything else like that. But I will say, if we had to talk about Carolina scoring and then I had to mention Jonathan Huberdeau not shooting that shot, I would have been really disappointed.
Yeah, and listen, as excited as we are right now, as excited as Flames fans everywhere and the sea of red is right now, listen, there are a lot, and I'm italicizing in my tone, there are a lot of plays tonight that are going to be learning opportunities and teaching opportunities for Daryl Sutter and his staff. I think that Huberdeau is overthinking things right now. It's easy for us to say we can sit in our armchairs and analyze as much as we want, but if he were to, give the man a little truth serum, I think he would be the first to admit it. He seems to be looking for the extra play, which is actually taking him out of the play that he is in.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. And again, it's one of those situations. Hell, I'll look at it earlier throughout the overtime. Look at what Nazem Kadri did when he had those opportunities there, Cooper. No, he didn't score, but at least like three of those times he drove the net. He looked for his offense. He tried to stick handle past Ronta. Huberdeau can do the same damn thing. So I'm hoping maybe even Nazem Kadri would just say, hey, look, man, you got the confidence and the ability, go do it.
Yeah, and no interest in ending on a negative note. They certainly contributed tonight, but boy, you have to look at across the lineup for the Flames. They're getting contributions. I mean, this is a different Flames team than last year. I won't say very, but notably top heavy, right? Of course, you had the Gaudreau, Lindholm, Kachuk line, which will be talked about with good reason for many, many years. 200-point goal scorers. They hadn't had one since Theoren Fleury in the early 90s. For Flames fans who remember, I mean, that was the young, quote unquote, young guns era when, oh my gosh, Todd Simpson, there's a name for it, random hockey player. He was captain of the Calgary Flames at the time, so that tells you where they were in their history. And listen, my point is, the Gaudreaus and the Kachucks of the world, Lindholm having an excellent year, fantastic. Made a massive difference, changed the trajectory of the franchise, took them to the playoffs, won a series, made a strong push in the postseason. But the building blocks are different now, and even though Huberdeau isn't fully locked in, even though Mackenzie Weegar has shown up in some games and then been a little quieter in others, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Nazem Kadri, and I'm loving what is happening below those top two lines. It seems like there's a lot of ownership being taken by players like Trevor Lewis, even Blake Coleman, who unfortunately had the double minor. But you see it in the forechecking, you see it in the way they're skating, you see the effort of players like Milan Lucic, and ultimately that's resulting in goals this year. And then Tyler Toffoli, who, yes, he's on the first line, but he'd been invisible, and all of a sudden gets 2 points for his team.
Yeah, and like you said, not only do you get production from everything, but I know you brought this up when we did a cast last week. If Huberdeau is at the point where he's not getting all the goals and all that stuff yet, and he's probably the bronze star as far as all the acquisitions, Calgary's 4-1 to start the year. That should give you a lot of optimism. You feel pretty good about that, especially the way that the team continues to play.
Absolutely, and the outlier is the Sabres game, which I brought up multiple times. That's going to be a thorn in the side. Probably 2 points they would have liked. But when you're beating teams like Vegas, who's looked very strong, you're beating the defending Stanley Cup champions, and you're beating a playoff team who a lot of folks like to go deep out of the Eastern Conference. That's got to be 2 thumbs up for Flames fans everywhere.
Absolutely. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do right now. And you said the 7 out of 10 is what you want in the homestand. I think this could have been one of those ones here, Cooper, whether you like it or not. I'll just say it. This could have been one of those ones you mark as a loss, because I really give Carolina all that credit in the world. They're able to find the way. Yes, there was a goal that didn't go the way for Derek Stepan, but full marks to Jacob Markstrom to totally respond. Full marks for the team to be able to push through and on the penalty kill. And then on that 3-on-3 and that skills competition, and that was exciting. A lot of opportunities there for Nazem Kadri. Rasmus Anderson beats 2 players, and Tyler Toffoli makes himself available for the game-winning 1T. So that was exceptional. So I know there's going to be another contest on Tuesday. But again, if we do get a chance to hook back up on Saturday, it will be the Battle of Alberta. I'm going to leave my schedule open just in case you say you are available, because this 10 o'clock Eastern start might suit us if you don't have too much to do next week.
Yes, sir. I mean, listen, if we get anything like we got tonight, we'll have another barn burner on our hands, no pun intended. It's always a pleasure. Of course, we'll be in touch quite a bit over the coming week, and I know you're going to have a lot on your hands. And, I mean, what a time in the sports world in general. I mean, we got the Houston Astros are on the cusp of the World Series, a good back-and-forth series between the Padres and the Phils. We have NFL football well underway. We got tons of fantastic hockey games. John, we got it's a smorgasbord for us out there, my friend. So we will certainly continue working hockey, but who knows? There might be other things for us in the future as well.
There might be something that you and I might have to talk about doing a World Series game, and the way that we split between the play-by-play and the color, I thought that was a lot of fun tonight. We'll definitely have to do that on the baseball side, because there's a lot more talking and a lot more stats involved. So maybe we'll get that going along, and I know I'll be getting that going throughout the week once I figure out my schedule. So as always, Cooper, I appreciate it so much for you to be able to hook up with me today to be able to do this game. And if it does come the next Saturday and we get another hockey game, I feel like the Oilers and Flames are going to give us another treat.
Yes, indeed. I'll be ready to go. We will be in touch soon. And to anyone out there listening or has listened or tuned in at all, thank you so much. So signing off for tonight, and John, we'll do it again soon.
Sounds good, man. Talk to you then.
All right.
All right, guys, that's going to close out our YouTube side. Thank you very much to Smokey Dan and Jay and everyone else that's been following along. That was Cooper Hopkins. He held the back end of this play-by-play. We're going to have the full game story to follow at hopelessportsguy.wordpress.com. You can follow me at John Ryanot on Facebook, Twitter, TBU Gunslinger on Instagram, but at John Ryanot in Clubhouse if you want to get a chance to get more clear audio, because I know sometimes the camera isn't as clear as I would like it to be, so I'm going to have to invest in some better equipment. So I appreciate everyone that stuck around here tonight. And hopefully we'll get back on the call next weekend as far as these two teams. That's what I'd like to do. And if not, maybe a World Series game will be in our entry, because Cooper and I do a lot of hockey games, but it's fun to cover a lot of other sports and stuff too. But it was the first time, to be honest with you, today that we did a mix in between the play-by-play and color, and I actually thought it went pretty well. I took the first half of the game, he took the latter half. He was able to get a game-winning goal call for his favorite team in the Calgary Flames. It was a lot of fun. So I'm going to get my schedule ready for tomorrow after getting some of the football games typed in, because I got to do a lot of local coverage around here and the football stuff. And then I will make it known so everybody knows what my schedule is for the week. And as always, anyone that follows along, if there's a game that you want me to cover in between the NHL or the NBA, because I got ESPN Plus and an NBA League Pass courtesy of 2K23 Championship Edition, please let me know. Get in contact with me. Let me know what you want me to cover, and I'll be on the call for that. And hopefully Cooper and I can do more games together. So as always, guys, I will talk to you soon. You have a good one. Peace out, everybody.